Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures back in negative territory ever so slightly this morning. We're trying to get back to the upside here. We snapped a 3-session losing streak yesterday, coming off solid performance from some of the big name tech stocks back to the upside at the end of the session. Right across the board, really nice gains. It was actually the small cap Russell 2000 that led the advancers for U.S. equities yesterday, 2.3% to the upside. The Dow and S&P both now less than 1% away from all-time highs that we got to for the first time last week, or the first time last week. Focus shifting back to earnings, lots of them to get through this morning. We had AT&T, DR Horton, Southwest, American Airlines, Union Pacific, to name a few. Coming up aftermarket, Intel, Snapchat, and Mattel on deck aftermarket tonight. So stick around until the close. Individually, we're watching cloud software name this morning, Teradata, up big time after an earnings beat right across the board. And airlines, as I mentioned, on deck. We'll have a look at all of them. Alaskan, American, and Love, Southwest, all reporting. It's Thursday, April 22nd, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go. Look at North American markets to kick things off for Thursday. You can see a little bit negative, as I mentioned, but we're trying to get back to the upside. NASDAQ about 0.2 to the downside here, leading at this point, but we are moving in the right direction. TSX futures here in Toronto looking at a negative start. Brazil is open already, up 0.5%. We have Bitcoin back to the downside. Crude higher and gold in negative territory. Just got the weekly jobless claims number there, guys. 547,000 versus 603,000 expected. So a little bit better than expected there on the weekly jobless claims. But hey, good morning. It's Thursday. Yeah, our friend Rahim Alani's in the building already. Yes, OCI Groups here in Toronto. We're going to talk to him coming up about some healthcare names, possible opportunities in healthcare today, guys.
Perfect.
Yeah, welcome, of course. It is Thursday. There is a lot to get to. There was a wealth of earnings. A wealth of earnings. There was a ridiculous amount of earnings last night. And then happy Earth Day, everybody. And I've said it like a million times today, and I'm saying it again. Goldman Sachs, how you can do it? How are you going to slap downgrades on a couple of EV makers on Earth Day? I think that's cold-blooded. But the EV names are going to be in play as I watch NIO right at the top. And then it's Lordstown also getting a downgrade. I guess the bigger one is going to be Fisker as well. So those two are going to be on watch today. It should be an exciting one. We're happy to have Rahim come through again. It's always fun talking some interesting stock names, which might not be on everybody's radar today, Sean. And yeah, I already got my eye on that TDC here, guys. I know Brendan just mentioned Teradata. I'm going to try not to call him pterodactyl today, but I might make that mistake a few times here, Sean.
I'll probably call it Teledoc or something like that. There's lots of different stocks out there today. Yeah, guys, welcome to a Thursday show. It's going to be an exciting one. Yeah, really happy to have Rahim Alani swing by here. Healthcare, look, I mean, anything more popular right now? Some of these healthcare stocks, UNH and whatnot even, I mean, we're not going to be talking about big time names, but you know, those are taking off. So I'd like to hear some little names. Good to have Rahim coming through. And it's going to be a good day. I just tweeted something out. Hopefully we don't short CCL too much today. We got some key levels. I didn't tweet this out yet, but we do have our sticky note right here as well, ready to rock and roll. I'm excited. I want to go long on Palantir. I don't want to miss the boat this time again either. Fisker today, you know, what goes up must come down apparently. Yesterday we were up 17, 18%. And if you remember at 315, guys, like all I was doing was shorting Fisker. Do you remember that? I was shorting it at 15, 20. Put up your hand if you remember that. There, people might think you're crazy if you're putting up your hand watching YouTube, but we were shorting Fisker all afternoon there, and the most I was able to take was 4 cents. Took a couple beat downs, eventually got out for 4. I think it was 7 or 8 cents, something like that. And then of course today, this is the thing. We don't trade swing positions here. We have to get flat every day, but there it was. Remember 15. You guys, again, if you're watching us at 315, thank you. But you know what we were talking about. I said this has to come down, and then today we get the Goldman downgrade. So it's exciting. Bitcoin just made a nice little move there to 55.5. So look, crypto in play. Lots of names happening. EV space, marijuana. Let's go.
Yeah, I just saw Ethereum as well, all-time highs. ETH, all-time highs to start things off so far this morning. We'll have a look at some crypto names before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V. She's in green.
Yeah, right. Good morning, everyone. I wish us all a profitable, interesting day. And guys, you already know, hit thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, let's get it started with a look at the top 10 trader list here from Day Trade the World yesterday. And I highlight this morning simply because, I mean, all day yesterday we were talking about how muted the markets were, how there was a lack of participation, a lack of volatility, but still opportunities, guys. NASDAQ New York producing 17,000 yesterday. NASDAQ on its own, 17,000, 14,000 there, number 3. Down to number 5, 11,000, all European markets. So you got to look hard sometimes, but even when volatility drops, we still have great opportunities in this market. Let's start things off, guys, with a look at this IPO from yesterday, that UPath. Already making moves this morning. I just checked 6.5% to the upside here in the pre-market. Apparently, Cathie Wood selling more Tesla to buy UPath yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, Tesla on that run, right back at that 745 price level. UPath, I had a couple of trades on it when it opened up after lunchtime. You know, tried a couple of breakouts that were muted success, and then it eventually held this 65 bottom. I had a short order to go short if it broke 65 because it was looking weak. It triggered when there was a dark pool print. I got out and lost the spread. Should have immediately reversed long. That failed breakout to the downside was basically all she wrote. And then it even gave you a second chance here at 66.40. I sort of came in thinking, okay, well, if we're going to gap into this range, maybe we'll pull back into like that 68, 69, and then bye-bye. It's taking out the top today. So it looks like, I suppose she was right, or maybe, I don't know. Time will tell, certainly, in terms of the timing of that purchase by ARK and by Cathie Wood. I think at this point, you kind of have to look at yesterday's highs as a level to watch. So I'll come back thinking about like 70, and then that 71 area. This one is absolutely off to the races. Maybe there's a breakout at 75. Maybe there's a dip to be played, but I'm not going to chase it pre-market up at these prices. I would have liked to catch it on that little dip. You don't have anything to reference here, obviously, so you kind of have to play off these key levels, play off of some breaks, and we'll point out iceberg orders. Sometimes those can be important as well. Day 1, day 2, people don't want to tip their hands.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, I mean, it's right up that ARK Innovations path there. UI path here. You know, I don't know. I mean, it IPO'd yesterday. Neil just went over some key levels there. Today, it's upside. I mean, if this is how Cathie Wood is going to make money, then great, just by kind of like bigging up her positions and telling everybody what they're taking. But I think you hit the nail on the head, Neil, when only time will tell. We'll see if she wants to put her money in UiPath instead of Tesla. That's going to be her choice, and we'll see what happens. But I mean, a brand new stock, you know, we've seen some of the disaster that's happened with some of these IPOs lately. Is this going to be another one? I mean, I think we probably do retest that 65 open yesterday at some point. So I'm not a buyer at all of any recent IPO as they start making new highs. I'm going to wait for pullbacks. That seems to have been the right way to play. So I'm going to wait for UiPath to come back in here. And yeah, so right now I'm interested in it just to see what happens. It's only 229,000 shares, up 7%. For me, it's not a short or a long. It's a hold and a wait and see. I like innovation, so maybe it's a name I eventually get involved with, but for right now, I'm going to hold tight on Path.
Like we don't.
Yeah, and I just want to say, Ryan, there's like you're asking the right question. Like, why is Netflix in ARKX? We've sort of been over this one before. There's some interesting names, and sorry, I'm just watching that WBT a little bit here today as well. But there's some interesting names in that ARKX, and of course, I don't think Netflix has any place in there. But either way, if she was buying it up. It did make a bit of a rebound as I tried to load the chart up here. So some stabilization, and kind of the thought was that if Netflix could hold 500, it would be a good sign for the markets. That turned out to be true. Just required a flush off the open to come into play. But your guess is as good as mine as to why Netflix got into that fund.
Well built. Back on watch here. We'll have a look at WBT coming up. Before we do that, guys, we're going to have a discussion about healthcare. To start things off, Rahim Alani, OCI Groups here in Toronto, joining me once again in studio which is very, very nice, as always. Good to see you.
You too.
This is a group that has been, kind of back in focus, obviously, because of the pandemic.
Right.
There's so many different needs when it comes to testing, to PPE. Like, there's so many different angles to this. We've also seen increased M&A activity in this sector. What do you want to start things off here with?
Well, I think if you look back a year ago when COVID was sort of just beginning, people were pulling back off of elective surgeries, elective procedures, optional things like that, and a lot of focus went into COVID and, like you said, PPE and testing and so on and so forth. So when you took that into account, the number of M&A transactions, a year ago today, significantly dropped off. At the end of the last year, you saw that pickup come again. So the first half of 2020 saw, say, $2 billion worth of transactions, and then got saved by the end of the year as people started getting comfortable with what COVID was, and you saw $25-30 billion worth of transactions. Now, again, people are getting they're getting their footings on what's what, and now some of these elective procedures are happening. People are going back into hospitals, doctors' offices. There's a new way of going to doctors. You can see them digitally, telehealth, all of these different things. So when you're putting all these new factors into this healthcare ecosystem, now companies are saying they're getting more comfortable with what's happening, and now it might be a time to go and look at M&A opportunities, either adding technology, adding revenue, or adding a new stream of patient care.
And now, some of these names that we're going to get to, guys, obviously listed here in Canada. They are mostly dual listed, so you will get either an over-the-counter listing in the U.S., but we'll let you know. We're going to show you some charts as well. Again, we're showing you these just as kind of underlying kind of, maybe names that you haven't heard of yet, but are definitely in focus because of, the reasons we just said, and in many cases have already made pretty impressive moves. So let's start things off with Wealth Health Technologies. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, so they're going omni-channel. So they've got digital, they've got telehealth, and then they've also got in-person clinics and practices. So they want to sort of be able to cater to as many as possible. You can see, looking at the chart, that it's done pretty well. They're same thing on the smaller scale, making acquisitions. So they just made an acquisition in Australia, an acquisition in California. They just raised a bunch of capital. Li Ka-shing, obviously the prominent investor from Hong Kong, was one of the anchor investors for the last couple of rounds. So well heeled from that point of view. Okay,
let's talk about some COVID-related opportunities here as well. Empower Clinics, which is CBDT. Now, this is on the CSE here in Toronto.
Yeah, and they actually just got DTC eligibility a couple of days ago. Okay. So our U.S. friends and people that want to invest there can pick that up. So CBDT, again, an impressive chart depending on when you picked it up. This time last year, 5 cents, and they were in the healthcare business. But they started knocking out some really impressive results around a PCR testing technology that they acquired, and they were announcing sales, and you saw the stock go from 5, 9, 30, 40, 80, 250.
Right.
I think it's found its level here, back down into the high 50s. They just announced another sale the other day, so they're going to continue to add sales and revenues with the PCR testing. DoorDash announced that they're going to be doing delivery of PCR kits to home as well. Yeah. So that might be an avenue that they could look at. So it'll be interesting to see where they go.
So CBDT, write that one down, guys. The next one, a former guest on the show, we've had VenturePoint swing through before. Tell us about them.
Again, same thing. Their business is more focused on cardiology, echocardiology, and doing 2D graphs of the heart. Now, again, now that people are returning to hospitals and doctors' offices for these optional opportunities, people are going to now go in, and this might be a quicker way to access revenue. So, as hospitals again begin to shift off of COVID-related matters, there might be an opportunity for them to generate sales. Again, you look at that chart, and I think the pent-up demand of now that hospitals are buying equipment again might be a place where VenturePoint might be able to add sales. And technically, we still don't know what the effects of COVID are on the heart.
Yeah.
So that might be a play down the road on that. But just in reality, there will be hospitals getting back to spending money. So I think the underlying thought here is that there's that to come. An interesting note on VenturePoint and even on CBDT, as investors, you may want to look at when financings have come out and warrant pricing. VenturePoint has warrants out at 50 cents. I think the market was sort of waiting to see if those would get into play because there's about 10 million warrants at 50 cents.
Right.
Once it cracked 50 and went up to 60s, I think that fear has now subsided. So that may have pent it in for a bit, but I think people have moved past that now.
I mean, it's an impressive chart. If we throw that back up there real quick, guys, yeah, I mean, it's still making higher highs.
Right.
That's a daily time frame, guys, for VPT. That's on the Venture Exchange. One of the interesting things I kind of took from that discussion that we had with them was, and as you mentioned, the longer term effects are still kind of unknown when it comes to COVID and its relation to heart problems. And they were seeing more and more patients returning that have had COVID maybe 6 to 8 months ago with some reoccurring issues. So to be continued, I guess, when it comes to
hopefully the story is just now sales versus people needing to go get too deep.
Right. Obviously, we want the best here. Welltech, digital health.
So it's a story that went public a little while ago, so you can look at the chart. Again, something to bear in mind is that as stocks go public, there are people with free trading paper that will start to sell that off at the beginning.
Right.
You may see that, but I think as the company now starts to get news out, the stock may move in different directions depending on what type of news they get out. But Welltech, they've got a bit of cash going. They're focused on the sort of business-to-business segment, so personalized health and wellness, online, cashed up, and I think they'll be potentially, my guess is, as a smaller company, they'll be looking to do a list as well. That's sort of the play that most people go when you list here. You want to get onto the U.S. as quickly as possible because they have exposure there in the U.S. as well.
Let's go down to ProTech Home Medical here.
Yep.
MedAisle.
So in-home patient monitoring, I think as a lot of us have parents that get older, you're going to want to have some sort of purview on what they're doing, making sure they're keeping tabs on what they're up to, making sure they're taking their medications and things like that. So patient in-home monitoring, the theme has always been there, but I think the reality is now more so with people having been stuck inside your house for a year.
Yeah.
You sort of want to make sure that people are taking care of themselves, and if you can't be there in person, a solution like this is definitely helpful. So you've seen the stock move nicely as well.
And it's impressive. I think one of the takeaways that we've had a few of these companies swing through over the past couple of months. One of the takeaways I kind of got from that was, as we've seen with Zoom and its effect on business travel or the need for business travel, I think going forward, some of the common health issues that we have on a day-to-day basis that used to require a trip to the doctor's office may not anymore. You may be able to, get a cure for a common cold or something, very basic with just a digital visit or a monitoring type of technology.
Yeah, so you're definitely seeing a lot of acquisitions and business being done in the telehealth space and in doctors online. Definitely a big move, and all types of practitioners, to be honest.
Going to be interesting on that one. You want to talk about Entheon here?
Yeah, Entheon, that was one that just caught our attention because of a genetic testing technology that they have. We were talking about sort of medtechs and welltechs. Again, an interesting chart. It's gone public. It's had some decent highs, and it's come back a bit back to where their initial low was. But I think it's a story that'll get interesting with the genetic testing angle. I think it'll be super important to watch. Yeah,
we saw that bio-nano genomics pop up again this morning on some news. So it seems like almost on a daily basis, those types of stories are showing their cards and showing their heads, and that's another one, guys. Again, all of these names, kind of smaller companies that you might not have heard of, listed here primarily in Canada, but with the pandemic, obviously, with these ongoing types of issues that we're seeing because of the pandemic, definitely opportunities to be found. Neil and Sean, thoughts on a couple of those possibly?
I mean, it's actually kind of interesting. We were just sort of looking at each other because Sean just got into BNGO, bio-nano genomics. So I know we had a couple of names in there, and certainly we were watching that that Welltech, and then Venturepoint, of course, was interesting. And we're just looking at that ENBI, but I actually had my eyes on bio-nano genomics. There were a couple of, I don't know if we have time for this, Raheem. I hate to put you on the spot, but there was some asking for input on INND and ENZC there, so I'm not sure if putting you too much on the spot there. If you had any Interscope Hearing, if you know that name.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make a note. We'll send it over.
I want to talk about this Entheon just really quickly. If you look at the chart here, this, Raheem, I mean, are we getting close? Is that the bottom? I mean, again, we're not going to make calls on where these stocks are going, but that looks like, where we opened up here, 61, 62 cents. Yeah. We made a drop down to 48, and now we're kind of like revisiting that bottom here. Do you, based on what you said there, we talked about BNGO, bio nano there as well. Yeah. I'm long that stock. This does have legs, you believe?
So the way I look at names like this, quite frankly, is there is paper that becomes free trading for some of the investors right off the bat. So you're going to see that sometimes you'll see that initial dip, and then you'll see that move up as the company starts to put out news and starts to get it get its footing, like we've talked about, as a public company. Now, the merits of did it go too far too fast, that's all TBD. But I think you start looking at lows like this and you're saying, okay, I think some papers come free selling. You may want to consider looking at making an investment at these lows, because as the company starts to do more business and get more news out there, you start to see companies move back towards, maybe not the high highs, but towards that trajectory back up there.
Great stuff. Rahim Alani, Managing Director, OCI Groups here in Toronto. We appreciate your time as always.
For sure.
We'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Guys, let's jump into what is moving around here in the pre-market. If you haven't done so yet, take a sec, sign up for our absolutely free to you watch list that we send out every single morning before we come on at 8:30. Valeria will help you out in the chat if you need that link. The first one, an interesting kind of look here this morning. I mean, we have a lot of earnings to get through this morning, but we'll start things off with airlines as a group. Guys, a little bit more positive today. We had American Airline, we had United, and Alaskan all report this morning.
Yeah, I mean, Southwest is as well there. So look, American Airlines, it was a loss. I mean, you're expecting to have loss across the board, but it wasn't nearly as bad as, look, UAL got, we know what happened. UAL got watersheded because it was just much wider than anticipated. But you're seeing the recovery was already sort of in play after yesterday's flush. You're going to have a lot of charts that look like that with that little dip and then the push through. Let's just sort of keep in mind that this is getting its gears after a short of a double stop pullback here. First time 27 and then through like 25. So we need to crack through that 22 even, see if we get to the 50 period here. It's still somewhat of an upward trend, but that was broken very briefly. It was the biggest dip that it's had since late last year below that 50 period. And it wasn't necessarily blowout numbers. I just kind of feel like this is piggybacking off of the bottoms that were made in that sell-off, in the result from UAL. I tend to prefer Southwest. I know Mark's on that train as well. The chart sort of speaks for itself. It's actually a much stronger looking chart as well. They're up a couple of percentage points today. And I was looking for a dip buy in Southwest in the 61 to 62 area, as opposed to maybe chasing that UAL. Like if UAL, like 21.20, 21.25, I kind of liked as well. But if you get any kind of a dip where I can support $61 for this entire dollar range, really, and this is the chop I'm sort of talking about. Right in at the close yesterday, that $1 to $2 range at the aftermarket, and then you have before the flush, you had that $1 to $2 chop. 61 to 62 chop before. So that's a target area for entry. I think that means like I want to be long in front of 62 and you give it to like that 61-ish area on LUV. That'd be my preference over American Airlines only because they're a little bit stronger, so I'd rather play the long in Southwest.
Yeah, so just to give you guys an update, we talked about BNGO there, Bio Nano. I am long. I took a long first at 43, and then we just took a long through 50. So averaged into this one right now. I liked it. This is the number one stock that I had on my list. You see the stars there? 2 stars, BNGO there, break 640. That happens. We got Fisker down there, Ford at 12.10 as well. And then, and then at the top we had AAL. So here's Bio Nano. I'm going to wait for 7. I think that can come, so we'll wait for that one. So AAL, I have a top break of. First of all, I just messaged to Brendan about AMC. We'll get to that in a minute. You guys remember me telling you guys that, that $8 was probably going to be a solid bottom. So was 9. Now you're at 10.20. So that's congratulations to anybody on that AMC train. I first bought that stock at $2 with calls, but we're out of that one now. So that was a fun run. You guys remember those days. AAL 2180 now. Look, the reason why we write this down, it's basically the 50-period moving average is actually 2190, but I like 2180. It did dip up there before. Here he goes. I always look at these 20-minute charts. They just give me a good outline here of what's happening. This is 2180 right here. So we've already wicked up high to that spot today already, 2180, 2180. So we're right here. Like whether or not you think that AAL is going to be a short like it's been the last, look at the trend, your friend to the short side, but now we're maybe switching it up. The 50 period crossed up here, so it looks like we're getting a little more bullish here. So I like this 2180 on AAL, and I think it's, if it's still there, I don't know if it's still going to be there when we open up, but if it still is there, I think that's a trade that we can actually take out the big stick and go a little long on that one. Where is it? There it is. We'll go Carnival style here. We'll go long on AAL if it does break above that. Remember, this is a NASDAQ name, so I'm going to show you the imbalances right now. We don't have any imbalances for the NASDAQ. They come out at 928. So right now we have Skills paying a lot of bills there. Path, we've already talked about that. There's the big bad boy there, Palantir. Oh, I want to show you guys Palantir. I don't think it's on our list, but it's right here at 23. So there's some big size there. We're going to take that break as well. So lots of good names on the list here today that we've talked about. There's WBT, there's Fisker, there's Churchill, AMC right there, Coke. This looks like this might be a good day, guys.
All right, I was just checking on this AMC for you. It looks like, I'm not seeing anything significant as far as headlines. They did update their guidance after market yesterday, but a lot of people online talking about short interest increasing. So I'm going to dig into that a little bit, but definitely higher on the morning. Microvision, another one on that list. Let's have a look at upgrades and downgrades for the morning, guys. We have a couple of names on here that we're going to get to on the list as well. If we can throw that up, there we go. Ford on here today, guys, 2.5%. Wolf Research, they put out a positive note on the entire sector, but they did kind of go in and highlight Ford to the upside. So a nice look for Ford today. First Solar, yeah, Chipotle reported. We can have a look at CMG, big $1,600 stock now. Nike, Fisker, Lordstown. Yeah, some EV names under pressure again today, and that well-built on this side of the screen, guys.
Yeah, Goldman just picked that $10 number and just said, okay, let's just slap it on. Oh, I'm kidding. I'm sure they put thought into it. You mentioned Ford. I was looking at that one too. I guess we're obviously going to get into talking a little bit about specifically Fisker and maybe a little bit of Lordstown. But you get some of these plays and Ford starting to rub really, really close back to that 1220 area. You like these sort of capitulation lows that fail break through like a support level, and then I get this like 1130. You snap back in yesterday's action. And then, to me, you're going to start a little bit of an upward trend here. And that's all I'm looking for with this $12 area. I think there's like an entire 25-cent range worth of defense here from 12 to 11.75. And kind of like if it can't hold yesterday's gains, you can sort of walk away from it there. I've been staying slightly away from breakout trades in the last little bit. I mean, it's very possible after yesterday that they're going to be right back into vogue. But I just want to be defending this one all the way down to that 11.75, particularly in Ford. And if you can't guess where to play the weakness in that market, in the car space, it's going to be in those pure EV plays that got downgraded today. I kind of might lean towards Riot because they're not down as much. Fisker. Fisker had sold off like 8 or 9% the last time I checked at it, so maybe Riot could be the better play for that. I also wanted that pterodactyl that Teradata, starting to roll over. I just want to. I knew I was going to make that mistake the first time through, but Teradata just started to roll through. This was up like over 30%, but just broke this 50-50 level. Now, it's a pretty thinly traded stock, but the spread isn't actually that bad, and it's almost done $1 million worth of shares. Now, I was going to look for that break after the open to see if it would gap fill at least to about this 47.50. In the case that this is now like 30 minutes to go to the open, so it's way too early to get into this name, in my opinion, for me. If we can get back into the 52 range, I would probably now that it's tested that low, at least take a shot off of the lower high at 52.50. So got a counter trend here off of just blowout early earnings here, indications from Teradata Corporation here. So that one's on my radar. It just broke the low. Hopefully it gives me a shot closer to the open.
Yeah, I mean, on this, it is a forward break of any of these levels here. I mean, 12.25 is the 50-period moving average on the chart. And you have some bottoms here. I mean, Neil just went over at 12.10. I like a 12.10 break. That's going to be a big trade, hopefully as well. Update on our poll that is now closed. Congratulations and thank you to everybody for voting here. Over near 1,000 votes, 981 votes. So thank you so much for that. Means a lot. 5 retweets, 26 likes, and tons of comments on this one. So which one? Dogecoin leads the way today again. So Dogecoin there. After a day of voting, it looks like that's the altcoin that everybody wants to put their money into. I've never bought Doge, which is obviously a mistake. We've seen the run that's been on, but my guy is still Cardano, and Cardano today 123, so not really moving. It's more about Ether today, guys, and that's the name that's going absolutely off. So just made new highs around 2,600. So congratulations, anybody in ETH. We'll be looking at ETHH. Well, we'll talk about it, and then Mara, Riot, all these blockchain companies as well. But Bitcoin really kind of not doing anything. So people running right now to the ERC20 side of things rather than the Bitcoin.
A few people asking about Pterodactyl and how they can possibly purchase said Pterodactyl stock. So there's the logo and the company, guys. Teradata. We'll get into that a little bit in a second here. Let's bring in Arun first and have a look at the overall market and talk about what we need to know on the futures this morning. Arun, they like that weekly jobless claims number, it seems.
Yeah, it's been Yeah, the numbers, whatever the reaction to the number, keep in mind, we also had the ECB too. So there could be a bunch of different reactions in different directions, whatever was influencing that most recent move. We really can't really kind of just look right into it because there was multiple things that came out at the same time. One thing though, anyone that was watching the afternoon show, this area that we're in, if you guys saw that live yesterday, I was not a fan of this area. So in terms of what we would do here around these prices, around this 4164, 68, this zone itself, I'm going to stay away from. It does seem like we're coming off just off that little 65 move that we just got, 4 points that we just went up. We just came all the way back down now. This is what's going to happen around this area. So I'm going to be a little bit more patient. Maybe if we can come down a little bit more towards the 60s, depending on how this sets up, and this is going to be a delicate trade, I might just take a shot right against this level at 4160, risking maybe about 2-3 points, just to see if we can squeeze through the zone here to the upside. Because if we can get through it, then we do have resistance, but we can grind through this 4170 area all the way up to 4185, because that's been the most recent high level that I've put down. So if we can get above 4185, then I think 4200 is in play again. But we do need to get through there. And sometimes the way we do it is quietly and grinding through it, because it's not going to be a sharp move all the time. So now if we break through, let's say 4160 down towards the 4155, then you might have some potential to catch some bids below 50, because I am stacking levels. I know as I'm talking, I'm realizing that I'm stacking levels on top of each other. But the reason for that is because there's potential around the 60 for a bounce. And if we can't get through there, then I would wait for potential longs below 4150, going all the way down to 4125. So I'm willing to risk up 25 points below 50 to see if I can catch a bid on the long side. Mind you, yesterday was that grind level. We went straight up, but we actually worked our way through the zones and got through the resistance. And now we're sitting above it with some resistance above us, above 70 or so. So if we come back into that, I'm expecting some support below 50, see if we can catch a long there. If we get above 85, though, I think you have to look at 4200 as a real possibility.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning before we get to the open. We are under 30 minutes to go before we get things going today. Just to go backwards real quick here, guys, worth mentioning, both American Airlines and Southwest coming out guiding for the second half of the year, saying with increased demand and the economy slowly reopening, they're expecting profitability to return by the end of this year. Let's talk about Teradata. The cruise lines, we can look at those as well if you guys want to. We had big impressive moves from some of the cruise lines yesterday on the reopening type ideas. Goldman out this morning, back upgrading a few of them again. So positivity surrounding cruise lines. But this Teradata, this report was really impressive right across the board. Absolutely blew out estimates. They even guided to the upside for the remainder of this year. They reported these results early, guys, because they were so good. So they wanted to get them out there. So, it was up 50% aftermarket.
Yeah, and it's the nature of that spike that sort of got me. It was it blew right past this lower high that it put in February here, which is about like 51 bucks. And I'll come back to that price in a quick second. It stalled out, and I was immediately saying to myself, okay, would it be nice if it tested 55 off the open? That didn't happen. It basically gave close to that 55, so close enough to a fail at a previous lower high after that spike you saw on the daily. Ignore this. That's just dark pool dumps at 8 o'clock. It then rolled over after breaking back below like 52. Could not get through that price. And once that 50 to 51 area ended up failing again. I kind of said that that's not a trade that I would usually take in a stock like this at this particular time. Clearly, that might have been. Maybe have to start thinking about adjusting that, because these types of names, which are not usually as liquid, not a stock that I've traded before in the past. I don't like jumping in with like a half an hour to go when it breaks a level like this. Should have done it. Already like a buck in the money here, but if it does test back up to that 51, 52 for an entry point off the lower high to the short side, it's more of a gap fill type play for me. And if it hadn't already given you sharp pullbacks in this price area before on the daily chart, I'd probably be staying away from it, because it's just an incredibly impressive report. Like, they crushed it across the board there. So that's a little speech on Teradata. And I know the cruise lines. I'm looking at CCL, and I wish I had had a little bit more gumption with NCLH yesterday, because that was a good long. I think I think both those names, CCL and NCLH, are probably longs today. Of course, liquidity better in Carnival.
What was the, I didn't really look too much at TDC today, but Skills here, just noticing this name, obviously this is probably leading the pre-market in volume here, Skills today, 7 million shares. What a great bottom. And again, like this is just one of those names that has been beat down. I don't know why it only goes back. I guess it's because it was a SPAC, I guess, why we only went back to here, but $17. It looks like we're going to try to take out 20 very, very soon. I've missed this one, looking at too many things, but I don't know what the news is here with Skills. I'll try to find out as well. It's Kathy Wood, right? ARC, yeah, coming in and buying some of this. So $13. Wow, what a good move yesterday, and then continued to today. So Skills looking to take out $20. I think if you short this, good luck, but it's going to break 1950, and we're going to go long through 1950.
Strong once again. That thing has been on the move over the past couple of sessions. We'll have a look, guys, at Microvisions. Speaking of stocks that have had a recent bump, 6.5% here in the pre-market for Microvision. This was the number one stock, according to Unibiased stock, or unbiased stock, I should say, on Reddit yesterday on Wall Street Bets. This was the number one mentioned stock. So up again here this morning. Its short interest has been creeping up slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got cut. Well, I mean, it was more than cut in half after what was a tremendous run. If you want to go back into last year when the stock was worth about $1, it goes to 25, and again, you make another double bottom, and you sort of look at that low. That's that March 5 low that some stocks, the stocks that managed to hold that. Have had some decent rebounds here today, and in the last couple of sessions, that you're certainly seeing some follow through, and that's why I like looking at that level. The other thing too to sort of keep in mind, on that March 5th, it held this previous high, right? So that previous spike ended up getting held, and then you see the significance of it coming in, and it's right at that $10 range that it broke out. So it's pretty strong. I think there's likely to be a little bit of a slowdown, I think, in this $15 range. And again, this is one that I showed like one time, very, very quickly. Anytime I see a parabolic move like this, you just mentioned the boards there that are getting this one to the upside. You get a move like this going into the pre-market, you know that's the type of run that you're looking for. And it's not necessarily a full-blown squeeze play, but there are elements of a short squeeze in here. I don't know that I would defend anything until you got back to that chop zone at 13, and I wouldn't try shorting it unless you get like that test of a $15 area where I think it could slow down, or you can start getting some halts. Which, given the liquidity, I don't feel like this is one that's going to be in the halt phase. Unlike Skills, which is not on my radar to try to short at all, MVIS is one that I think at some point there is a decent chance, given the moves it's been making a couple days in a row now, parabolic moves like this, there will be a spot that's worth it risk to reward. You just have to watch and make sure you have a good out. So I'm not going to blindly step in front of it. This is one where I have to wait for it to open up and start making some moves before I jump in. Skills, there's definitely some longs, I think, in Skills. I don't love the short unless it blows through that $20 area and then starts making some fresh highs off that. And then it starts overextending itself. MVIS a little bit closer to a place I would take it.
Already went long here, and we're already 10 cents in the money, so we'll go some Superman action. The funny thing is here is that we wrote down 1380 here. This was the big thing there, and it already broke that level. And then unfortunately, I got to sit down here and actually put on some more trades when we're starting to break through some levels. Here's MVIS. I'll tell you why I like that 1380. It was just chart. It was just the high. Okay, so this is a 1 minute chart. It was just right here, 1380, right? I mean, how clear is that? We bounce, 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 bounce. We take that out and we rip upside all the way to 1443 off that 1380. So unfortunately, we just started talking about it and I was like, oh my God, I forgot to look at this one. So MVIS, we should be long here 1280. Let's just play it all the way to the backside. This is day one of this move. So this could definitely get going, guys. Like yesterday, we did have a nice move yesterday from 1040. This is what Neil's talking about, up to about 1240. So that's 20%. That's good. That's not enough. You can still go more. So we'll see what happens here today. You can play this back to 13. I don't think I'll be in it for that long. We do have to put some more shares on if we get back into this area. Let's just see what happens. And then right now, guys, the big winner. I mean, this is the big thing here again. And I didn't post this today. I don't know why. You can see there, BNGO, 640 break. How many stars is that? 2 stars, 2 stars. The only one with 2 stars, and Ford has it as well. But you're seeing where BNGO is right now, 662. So again, a 17-cent winner. Oh, come on, charts. Right here, we like it so much. We bought this thing 3 times. Dips down to 42, we got 43s, and then we got a 50 break. BNGO right now to the moon, and we're doing it again, guys. So let's just run around with a little bit of a money basket right now, guys.
All right, want to show you Microvision here real quick, if we can. This is going back to the end of March. So March 31st, it was about 18%. You can see just reaching recent highs back then as price was continuing to come in. So 28 million and change there on the short side, or about 18% for Microvision. Let's talk about Fisker. Back on the move again today in the opposite direction. Had 2 days to the upside. We mentioned Goldman coming out, also Cohen analysts coming out this morning, downgrading the stock with price target cuts now on Fisker, guys.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it is what it is. We sort of talked about this on Earth Day, nonetheless. It was Fisker and Lordstown. Now, the difference between the two, Fisker making the actual big move in the last couple of sessions. So you did sort of pop back above this sort of previous key level at 1430. I think that's going to be a bit of an area of I would say, some concern. I mean, that's exactly where we gravitated to on the pullback. So that original floor that you had on the daily chart sort of turns into this like resistance point, I think, for Fisker. Now, I prefer Lordstown to play that short. It was just a weaker name, and you can play it off of $10. But Fisker, it would have to pop up for me to maybe like the short a little bit more. If it gets into that 14-20 range, I'd definitely take a shot at it, certainly. But I almost like ride right here on Lordstown. So if that's going to open up, I'm just going to pull it up here just so you can see. Probably lock in step today. I think there's going to be a lot of, not necessarily correlation between the two, but only down a couple of points. And you're right off of a 975 close. You go back into the daily chart here and just see a much, much weaker name trying to get back above 10 and absolutely failing, and now catching that downgrade. So, for me, it's just an easier setup to have a look at because there wasn't the recent strength that Fisker had. Maybe that means there's more room for Fisker to come down because it had those gains. I just think it's a more controllable type of situation in ride. So it's only done 140,000, I think, because of a lot of eyes are going to be on Fisker. But this is what I plan on having at the open and into that 10 level, maybe even giving it to that recent high, that 1025, 1030 area that it put in just late last week.
Yeah, yesterday, I was just looking, I didn't post anything up, but yesterday on our sticky note was Fisker at 13. So, okay, there goes BNGO. By the way, we just took some out. You guys saw that at 66 there. So, or no, 64, I think it was. Yeah, 64. Good out there. Fisker, look, again, it's on my list. And I see everybody asking for the sticky note. I'm like in the process of doing it right now. So I will get that sticky note out for you guys. Thank you for the continued support of the Twitter account. We're almost at 18,000, and I just keep the comments going, guys. Let's keep engaged. Let's go. There it is. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Let's keep going on that. Okay, so it's the same thing again. I've wrote down on the sticky note here that let's see if we defend 13. Yesterday we were long right here. You guys know that one, long 13s. We defended that 13 yesterday, and then bang to the upside, 15. Beautiful trade for that long 13. So let's just see if it comes in again. I don't know if it's going to, but on that Goldman downgrade, never a good thing when you get downgraded. But at the same time, they're not going to be able to stop a moving horse. So if Fisker wants to go, it's going to go. Goldman can, I don't know, Goldman's probably just trying to get longer. So I wouldn't be surprised if, it's too bad you can't see their names on here anymore, because I bet you like all today, Goldman's going to be buying this thing up. So they just wanted a better price, so they downgrade it. And if you don't think those games exist, man, they do. A lot of the time, they don't actually mean anything that they're saying. They're just trying to get better prices, right? So 14, the breaking spot that I have here for Fisker on the upside is 14.30. So if we break that, then I do think that we probably retest 15, and then we see what happens. But again, the power of Goldman, I don't want to be wrong on that call. So we'll have to wait to see. I would love to get this thing a little bit lower. I'm going to put some bids in. New position alert, so we'll hit the siren for you right now if I can find it. The one thing is we have too many things on this board now. I mean, they're really cool. I could hit every single one of them. But here we go, skills. We finally take that long. So we go long and we put on, this is our biggest position right now. We're long at 53 as it breaks through 1950. Let's see if it has the momentum to go to the upside. We've seen this beat down stock Let's see if it goes. It did have, this is Fisker, like, come on, charts. So my chart is frozen again. But anyways, we are long skills right now, 1953. Let's see how high we can go.
Right, I was just noticing, guys, that was that Flying Eagle Acquisition Corporation. So Skills, a former SPAC, they provide services to esports and gaming on the monetization side. So heads up on Skills. Let's go to DraftKings. We talked yesterday about Gisele Bundchen being added to the board as a special advisor. They came out this morning and said Sling TV will be the first platform to offer exclusive DraftKings sports betting information, guys, for DKNG.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about DraftKings all the time being like a hold it, swing it, whatever. But if you day trade it, it can be a tricky one here. Now, you know, we can go over some levels. I think I like DraftKings because of the recovery that it's put in. We're back to that 58 level, which I really, really liked, and I think if that's the only price that stands out for me here today is going to be 58. Other than there was a fail break at 60, and I sort of look at that $60 range, and then I come back to the daily chart. There were a few fail breaks through, but each time we extended through, there was enough movement, like go 50 cents to go $1. So there was some room for you to catch a winner. You just had to be really quick about it. So I am going to take that. I'm going to take that 60 break on DraftKings. The idea being I want to be in and out pretty quickly if I can, anticipating that usually things get a little dirty with DraftKings, and then you're looking for a dip buy, which can be hit or miss. 58's the level I defend there. It did try this in the pre-market, guys. Just so you know, there was a push through 60 that has already failed. Second time through. Let's see if it's a charm, but the reason I think I'd have a quick out is I don't want a double failure at a price like that. Not on a stock, which is tricky in DraftKings. A lot of times it'll sell it off on that news.
Just pounding my keyboard here, trying to hit enter, and it's not working. Okay, Skills to the upside, and another new position. Siren alert, like, wow, how many positions am I going to get? I really hope this market is a long one today. Palantir breaking through 23, so we're long that name again. Not again, we weren't long it yesterday, well, we were at some points, but we missed that whole move up yesterday in Palantir. This is the move we're talking about. It got really, I mean, maybe I can zoom back out here. It got really, really excited, during the open there. I was not expecting this at all. We weren't able to play this dip. We were caught up in too many other things, but today we are now in this name. You can see the effect that Miss Wood has on everything. So, if she's going to keep buying some Palantir with me, then that's great. My last buy was 21.80. I keep talking about that. You could have just had that yesterday, so it's not like it's a monster trade or anything. But I like Palantir. I think you got to keep buying it. We've talked about these bottoms right here. I think when it breaks, you do probably visit like 17, 18, 19. I just don't know if it is going to break, right? So Palantir. So right now, guys, long BNGO. Thank God this one's okay. I mean, they're all fine. This is now in the money, 12 cents. MVIS did rip up for it. This is daily chart. Look at a minute chart. This did go nicely in the money. This went 40 cents in the money. We didn't take it. That's MVIS. Palantir, we're already long. That we're going to get, we just took some out there on Palantir. Oh, wow, Palantir went to 9. So there we go. So already a cowbell winner there. This is how we trade Palantir. You guys know that. So a nice little win there on Palantir already. 8 cents there. Whatever, we'll take it. We're going to go higher on this one anyways. And then Skills to wrap it up, guys. We're long at 50. Who knows where this one's going to go? It's been a violent ride, so we have Skills, and I'm protecting this back to about 1850. So we'll see if it breaks this VWAP at 19. If it does, let's give it a little bit of room and see if it can't get bumped up a little bit higher. So Skills, hopefully today, the runner that we want it to be. We have some offers upside. And I mean, the offer, no, actually I don't. I was going to say I did, but let's put some at 20. Already a monster win, guys. This is what we're talking about. On a chicken winner kind of day to start, let's just hope we have the success in 12 minutes.
All right, BioNano Genomics up this morning impressively, guys, 11.5% now. 2 additional laboratories implementing their Sapphire genome mapping technology over in the UK. That was the news for BNGO. Let's go to AT&T, another earnings name, blowout quarter for AT&T. 595,000 additional net wireless subscribers. So a big number on the ads for AT&T. The Warner Media number, however, wasn't as impressive, but still a beat. 9.8% to the upside for Warner Media, which is HBO, HBO Max, things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, getting out of its slumber here, AT&T usually, the kind of stock that doesn't excite a heck of a lot of people. But if you sort of look at this chart, there is a bit of a breakout forming on AT&T. You start with some good earnings here. You start with, there's been some rotation, and we can talk about that. We sort of talk about that ad nauseum. I like the report. I mean, HBO Max. You can talk about streaming and how Netflix is disappointed. They made some good moves with going straight to stream with some of their releases, in addition to like theaters coming back. But I'm gonna like this one to the long side today. AT&T. I look back at what's happening in the pre-market, and there has been some interesting, a little more wild movement than you would anticipate on an AT&T. And I sort of start with this 31 area where there's been a couple of jump-off points. There's been a lot of support at that price. So if it wants to hold that off the open, a little bit of a dip for me. I like 30.70 a little bit better as something that I would dig into if they're selling into the open here today. No breakouts in AT&T. There's no obvious levels for a break, but 31 and 30.70 are the two prices I look to add off of that little open. It's interesting enough. I mean, Sean, you have a lot of long positions. You're saying, hopefully everything's good by 9:30, but I don't have a single, like all the usual shorts I'd be sitting in or looking for some of those small cap or the gappers. I don't have one that I love that I'd even be sitting in today. The only one I like right now for sure is going to be Ride, and it's done no pre-market volume. That's the only reason I'm not even in it yet. I need MVIS to pop up, so it is feeling rather bullish today. So it's got that weird feel for me as well, Sean.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, you guys, you're already requesting the hot dog cannon, so you're going to get that. I mean, if you want the hot dog cannon, everybody's celebrating these wins. I just tweeted it out. And for me, you guys know it doesn't matter. I mean, I think the same is for Neil. It doesn't matter if I want to go long or short. It just happens that right now, all the levels that I had broke to the high side. We'll look to see. I mean, we're waiting for Fisker to come lower. I don't want to short that name. And yeah, you got to have reasons to get into your position. Right now, BNGO, look, big win. We talked about why we're in these ones. That's a good one there. MVIS, man, this is 10-cent winner, was 40 cents already. And then Skills, I mean, how could you not be in this one? You're up 17% right now, and just Rip City right now. We'll see how high it goes. And we just took some out at 67. It's at 75. This is just another big morning. Let's just hopefully we can hold the top. And that's what I just tweeted out. Anything could happen. There's a big little push there on Skills to the downside. Quickly, check the imbalance locator before we go back to Brendo. There it is. So Skills, I mean, this could be helping, right? I mean, there's no doubt about that. There's a 540,000 share bid right now on Skills. Maybe we get another piece out. We just took some out at 67. So that was a good trade, but I am waiting. I told you I'm waiting in the 90s to get out. We talked about AMC. That's faded way back down. I still like this break of 10.20. Oh, I looked it up. We were talking about maybe why, Brendan. The short percentage, I know you gave it on MVIS, but it's the same. It's 17.9 according to Trade Ideas here on AMC. So that could be a reason for this squeeze as well.
Yeah, I've seen a few different numbers floated around this morning as far as AMC is concerned, but they were saying that it is starting to creep back to the upside again. I forgot to mention, guys, on HBO Max, going back to AT&T, I didn't hear this, but apparently they're doing a Friends reunion. I thought that was killed a long time ago, but apparently it's happening. Production's already starting. And Valeria, you'll be very happy to know that apparently Justin Bieber is going to be a part of the Friends reunion.
No way.
So yeah.
Right on cue.
An actress, by the way. So,
let's talk about Ford, shall we?
Let's talk about Ford, yeah.
Look at Greg's reaction. He seemed rather excited about that.
Great reaction from Greg, is a huge fan, apparently. Wolf Research, I mentioned with a positive note, guys, on the entire sector, automotive sector this morning, but they really kind of focused on Ford, talking very positively about Ford. Credit Suisse as well, with the price target increase, just $1.12 from 11.
Look, you guys know that. Look, Bieber is very, very important, but as long as Jennifer Aniston is there, let's just keep it real. Okay, Ford right now. Yeah, look, Brendan, I've been a buyer of this name for a very, very long time. You guys know that. We first bought some shares at 6, 7, 8. Bye-bye Skills. That's taking off now to 20, so that's going to be a nice win for us. But well, you can see my positions on the board here eventually. But yeah, I love this 12-10 area. It's going to bump up against it a little bit here. This is a 20-minute chart. We've had some resistance. I think you could be a little more aggressive and less aggressive and take this 12-15 if you wanted the very, very breakout. But I don't know why I chose 12-10. You do have backside here of coverage down to 11.70. So again, if you take your trade, You know, this again is the 50-period moving average, or sorry, this is VWAP on the 20-minute moving average. That doesn't matter too much. I more like it on a 1, but it doesn't matter too much on a 1 today. But back to 1160 would be a fantastic bid. I don't think that's going to happen. So that, I mean, this is the thing. Like, we talk about only going long. Oh, there goes. I mean, look at Bio. I mean, Bio now is 21 cents in the money. Skills is 24 cents in the money. So I think we could do the same thing here. So we're going to take Ford long. I like the upgrade. It makes a lot of sense. We've talked about that. They need that chip shortage to be figured out. If that does get done, then we just go back to highs here. So Ford again. 12.10, let's take the break. It's quite clear to me. You do have this is the 50 period on the daily at 12.25. So I think if a 12.10 comes, I think you got to get out in the 20s. So that's my play right now. And let's just wait for the open, man. Only 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, a couple people asked about that fuel cell. Just to quickly here, going to show you $10 looks like a pretty solid level. Some stocks have already breaking through levels like this. Fuel cell not quite there yet, up 5%. It's Earth Day. There is that rebound play sort of coming into that entire space. And watch like a 950 hold. You look at these previous peaks. So again, if they're selling into this one, you got to look for a bit of a dip buy as well. I actually like fuel cell today. Good look there. I think that was Omar there on the chat asking about fuel cell one. Make sure we got to that. And thank you guys all for all the support in the super chats as well. We appreciate it all. Brendan?
All right, let's go to Renalytics AI. This is a small cap, but it is a little bit higher price, coming up to 32. 32 is that high from the daily chart. So we already tested it once here in the pre-market on its way back up to that point. So watch 32. Above that, you probably get a push. If it fails here and starts heading southbound, might be an opportunity on the short side. The news was they received a 10-year government contract for some work. So RNLX, guys.
RLNLX, eh? Okay, AAL, it's only 9.25 right now. I haven't done anything on RNLX, so if you guys want to look at that, do that. But again, you got to trade names that are in play, and I think that's the number one thing that we provide to you. Make sure you sign up for our watch list, available to you for free, and hopefully that will turn into some money. Okay, AAL, I kind of think that's annoying, but everybody likes that money thing, so I keep hitting it. Okay, I think we can get some money if we do break above this 2180 here. It already looks like it happened for us. So again, remember when I do this list, it's like, you know, early 8 o'clock, something like that. So we've already broken this 2180. It looks like it bounced off there. So maybe that's not going to be the greatest long, but it's 2185 now if we're going to take that. But it has faded back in a little bit. And by faded in, I mean 20 cents is really nothing. There goes Skills again, going to test 20. Hopefully that can go. I don't want to even dump any more of it. We do have an offer in the 90s though. But okay, 2150 back on AAL. That's going to be something to look at. We can look quickly on the imbalance locator. Again, the sticky note has been posted. You guys can find that. Ford, oh, there's our AT&T there. And then there's the UiPath. So, you know, a lot of big names on there. We'll see if Fisker does want to sell. We're going to try to defend. Actually, I got to put some bids in right now. We're going to try to defend that 13 on Fisker. I hope it does drop. Get some bids at the 50s, guys, right now.
Yeah, and AT&T starting to slide down. I did get into that Teradata. There you go. I said it once. I got it right. But Ford, it's not Ford. It is AT&T starting to come back into the open. I'm going to have a bid down in that 31 area because it looks like it's going to give that bit of a dip buy. This is 2.5 minutes to go here, and I don't know. I know we briefly mentioned it, but I don't think we got too in depth about CCL here. Just want to kind of throw it out there. A couple of levels that we're going to be looking at here today. You do have a potential top break. You yesterday's high, you get today's high, 27.40. I also like defending to 26.65 on any kind of a dip in CCL. Some of you guys are watching, and again, I don't think we covered Tesla. But just to quickly go over it, very, very similar chart here. Tesla trying to break up to that 750 level. Oftentimes on up days, the first thing Tesla does is sell off a little bit. So watch back into the 720 to 730 range. I think that's your area for a bit of a dip buy.
I hear some whoa-whoas going on there. It's because the NASDAQ imbalance just came out. So it's 928, nothing on here. Intel, they report after market today. mRNA is here as well. Shout out to Vaccine Nation. AAL is here on a sell side, so we can quickly have a look at that. Yeah, there it is, pushing it to the downside. So this may be a good spot here, actually, guys, to pick up some AAL. If I like the long through 2180, maybe this is something here. So let's wait to see if it pulls back. Let's see if we can defend 21. I don't mind AAL today. I wonder if we were the wrong way. Maybe we should have shorted 21. 2180. Let's wait to see. I want to put some lower bids here, see if we can pick something up on the downside for AAL. But with only a minute and 20 seconds left to go, it's Little Miss Green thing over there. And I'm really glad that she's wearing green today because I'm long everything, but we can switch that up, right? This market here making a move to the downside, so we will get ready to switch to the short if we have to. A nice move up there. We did have the number come out early. Brendan gave you that. So yeah, AAL looking to test down lower. We'll see if we can get some bids down here, 2120 and change.
Yeah, and well, that TDC, and I'm going to keep bungling that name. It's just ridiculous. I'll go with TDC. Making another push. I don't usually love averaging in at this particular time of day, but I did want that test of this 52 area. It's exactly where we're going to get the open. We had about 30 seconds to go here, and I'm also noting CCL starting to turn over a little bit, so got to watch out. We like defending at 26.65. At the open, I do expect it could get that dip. Of course, TDC starts to turn. I didn't get any more shares. I'll back that one off. I don't know that I want to get filled right at 9:30 on this name. It is a New York name. No imbalance on Teradata that I had seen, but you've covered basically everything that we could on that little list there, and it's going to be a while when I do feel like today, hopefully green. I do have the one short on, and let's drop that countdown. This time it works. Ms. V is in the green. We're locked and loaded, ready to go on this Thursday, Earth Day. 3, 2, and 1. I just made that connection. Earth Day, she's wearing green.
All right, let's go. First thing on our radar, skills right now. Going to open up. Let's see how high this goes. I mean, it could fall back down. We do have outs, like I mentioned before, 1840. If it comes all the way back to the downside, we will lose on this one, obviously, as we're trying to go long. It's not open yet, so be very, very careful of that. We are trying to get some more longs as well into that name. AAL, I mean, everything right now, AAL should be open because it's NASDAQ, so we'll wait for skills. Yeah, 2140, so a nice little move to the downside right now for AAL. Ford also pushing down. Look at the market, guys. We're collapsing here. Like, damn it, Valeria. I'm going to blame her because the green does not appear to be working. But we're downside right now. Let's pick up some longs if we like these prices, guys. And I don't know. Right now, we're stuck 4 longs. They're all fine. Palantir looks like it wants to go.
Yeah, and you've got to be kidding me. I get distracted by you know the name of this company. And then I see Lordstown, which I'm like, this is the short I want. And then Lordstown makes its move. Come on, chart. Don't do this to me. Come on, Lordstown just popped all the way down to 950. I had orders in here on, like, it just barely got away from my 85, and then I had an 88, and you're seeing the flush. I'll try to catch it on a rebound if there even is one, maybe in the 975 range.
So here comes skills right to it's not even open yet, and it's just coming to the downside. We do have some bids down here. Maybe we can get picked up. 1905. No. Oh, we just took a little bit of a bid there at 25s. We'll have to wait. It's not open yet. This is what a stock looks like when it's not open. It's on the New York Stock Exchange. You have tons of New York books in here crossing each other. I don't see that it's open yet. I don't see any end prints. There it is. Okay, so I see them now. So looks like we're going to be open on skills. It is heading to the downside. We just took our last bid there, but there goes Palantir. So let's celebrate a little bit here if we can. If this can go to the upside, we do have some offers. We take a Palantir break right now of 2305. So let's see if it can go now. NASDAQ though, man, come on, get going. We've got to have some winners for you guys early. Palantir, let's go.
There's CCL. It's not going to be 2665. Doesn't quite come down far enough, but a big time rebound off it. I was sort of geared and ready to go to lock and load. I did get more shares of that TDC, so we got entered into that one. If we get another dip down in CCL, I might try a little something off the current low of the day, and then take some 27s long to see if there's a bit of a bounce. But the ES is starting to come to that downside. I was watching Tesla as well. That actually showed strength into a big offer at 750 before reversing. So there was a big offer at 750 that I just saw there on Tesla. I actually have my bid in front of 723. I can go ahead and cancel that. I don't think we're going to sell off the open. I'll look to maybe defend like a 740, the current low. All I got is this TDC trade, which yeah, we got that nice little test off the open. Said, remember, I'm not averaging into it. No average in right at 930 because I want to be able to short that little pop. It's starting to come to the downside. Because I got such a good price, I kind of have to slip something in front of 50 even here. If I'm going to get short at the top in front of 53, it's kind of crazy not to take a little bit of profit in front of that 50. And I might even have to get a little bit more aggressive here as I step this one up. The only position I have on, and it worked to plan, it should have been, and I acknowledge this, it should have been ride. I did mention that I like that one to the short side sitting in it. I got into that TDC. It's a wild mover as well, and I never got into the short. I'll have to wait for a consolidation and maybe a uptick in volume. $500,000 only for Lordstown. Disappointment, volume-wise.
Yeah, so, okay, we'll hit a little bit of a backflip for BNGO as we just got some out there. We only have one piece left, so in, out, 1/3 of the trade left on board right now for BNGO. AAL, we do get that long down here. So we just took a long down here at 21.20. I told you we're putting our bids there. So there it is. Let's see if it can fade back in to like 2080-ish, something like that. We'll just see what happens. Wow, we got a lot of trades on right now. Wow, I got to manage this. Okay, skills. Back down to 19, man. Average. We're going to give it back to 18.50. If it wants to break my neck, then so be it. I don't think so. Let's just continue to go to the upside. And then the only other stock that's really failing right now is this MVIS. It has failed. So down to 13.44. That's going to be my out, a breakthrough 13.50. But right now, a whole bunch, man. And Ford, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 longs. Ford right now at 92, though. Good trade here.
Yeah, I just saw that MVIS. I mean, look, I was going to think about shorting if it got to 15, but you look at that defense, it just came off of 13.50. We kind of like that price. I'm going to have to take a quick shot at it. I got another out there. I'm not going to bring it up because you can see TDC, if you're watching it, it bounced off 50 again. So I keep taking a couple of dollars of a scalp trade on that stock, and I do want it to break further than this. I think there's a lot more room. Tesla, forget about buying a dip. I mean, you got to be kidding me. It just goes right through 750. There was a big seller there that caused no dip at all. Just absolutely crazy price action in Tesla. That sort of defied my expectations. I thought I was going to get a shot at it. I did not. I thought Ford was going to get down into the 80s and 70s. I think that I'm going to have to buy the dip where it is, at least consolidating first here at 95. I like the defense all the way to 75, as I mentioned, but can't sit on the sidelines for too long. I'm going to start building that Ford position before I miss out on it altogether.
I mean, I got to manage all this. Is just nuts for me right now. I have too many positions on. Bingo's going, AAL not going, but we're gonna have to manage that again. I don't know how I do this. Palantir, this is a bad one, man. We did take some profits early on this one, but it's coming back in. We're gonna give it to 75. Like this market, I mean, the NASDAQ and the ES both puked. So some of these longs not coming too strong right now, but whatever. Ford is in the money. Fisker, guys, 1361. New position alert as well. So let's just hope that we can bang some off here as some of these names need to start going upside. I'm long everything. This may be a problem. I got to figure out what to do here. What up, Beep?
All right, Sunworks, guys. Sun W just popping up here on volume. Just double checking on the reason for this. Headlines, possibly, but just tag 12. Huge volume spike at the open there for Sun W.
Yeah, good look for Sun W. We'll go with a bit of a power up because look at that consolidation breakout level at 1350 on NBIS. Now, it just bounced off there. I also picked up Ford and CCL. Carnival, it dipped down to 27. I got 03s there, but this is the one that's starting to go. I can tell you I'm still only in the one short in Teradata, and that stock is starting to show a little bit, a tiny bit of strength. Whoops, it's on the New York there. A tiny bit of strength off of that 50 area. Now, I did get a couple of legs out here. Thank goodness we were patient to wait for that little upside trade there. Usually I won't get into a short screaming into the open, but I like that 51, 52 area, so I had to get in a little bit. Now I start thinking about if we can't break 50, you can forget about holding through a 49.50. I'm going to probably have to say to myself, if it gets back into the 52 range, I might just take it out and look for a re-entry point. That'll still be in the money technically. But otherwise, it's holding through the bottom end break. I'm not going to take anything out unless it breaks 49.50 to the bottom, and then we start filling in the gap. And I think at that point, 47.50 is the level I liked. I'm going to throw a bid in front of that just to make sure that we get an out if there is a bit of a flush. CCL, the other name that we liked on the bit of a dip, never went to 26.65. It bounced off at 95. I said, we'll test it here at 27. It did go in the money 10 cents. I got a little greedy and didn't take anything off. If it goes up there again, I think I'll have to rectify that, but actually taking some profit. But for now, it's been okay. I actually double dip in front of 27 here. Let's see if we can't hold the line on some of these longs. I'm the same as you. I started to get into some longs and missed the one short that I really, really liked in Lordstown. Still, it's at like 9:30. I'm killing myself here. I can't believe that.
Yeah, I wish I would have got some of these shorts on. MVIS is coming back to the upside right now, though. It does make a couple bottoms. It's been a little bit scary. We are long right now, 84. It just went to 95. We didn't take any out. But MVIS, yeah, this is slippery slope on this one. Thought maybe it would run a little bit more than it has. There's Palantir. We fall in the hole again. Not again, but yesterday we took the long late, and it was a winner. But today, we'll punch it out because Palantir does break that 75. That's probably going to be the low. Let's see if it comes back up. 22.85. We'll break that. We'll go longer again through 22. can't believe that, man. That's going to break our neck again. Oh, man, that's horrible. Too bad we got out at the very bottom there. I'm always playing 75s. Might have to change that up because we got hit there on Palantir, but maybe the market rebounds and we can get some of this out. There goes MVIS. Yes, sir. A nice little win now. Okay, so here's 50 cents now. Back in the money on MVIS. This is why I'm not super upset when we get hit on some of these plays because we know where the money lies here. MVIS, a nice move. Skills, though, not paying too many bills right now as it keeps going to the downside, and so does AAL, guys.
Brendan?
One we mentioned a couple of days ago, guys. Peloton just popping up back to the upside, coming back to 103. Just tagged 103 on that first push. We're right at some key support levels. Some negative press still around this, but moving back to the upside, guys, for PTON.
I thought it would take a week to get to 100. It got there a lot faster than I anticipated there in Peloton. And part of me makes me think that it's going to be a fade off of like a 105, 106 area. That remains to be seen. I did take some out of that MVIS. It's not in that range yet where I would think about shorting, but that was at $15. So I will be out of a long if it gets close to 15. And that's like, math would tell you that you cannot be short a stock and long stock at the same time, so I can't think about shorting it unless I'm going to get out. Now, I talk about the high here at 1450. I think that's a good place to take profit. There is a higher level here at 1480. I kind of want to be thinking about that short trade, and it feels like it's starting to stall a little bit, so I'll take the profit on this one and then go over to something like a Ford, which is, I think, trying to calm down a little bit here, but just to show you guys, I like that 1175 area, but this is the gap that we're talking about. I want to give it some room. I'm trying to be a little bit patient here, adding, because I want to give it some room to test this gap into yesterday's close on Ford. So it's slowly creeping in. I was sort of getting a little bit antsy. I'm like, no, let's not dig into this. I've made that mistake before, trying a little bit too early on Ford. It's the same thing with CCL. It didn't take the profit 10, 15 cents when it came in the money. Now it looks like it wants to test that 75 level. So it is the shorts that are coming through. Thankfully, MVIS did work to the long side, but watch out, Ford and CCL both going against here pretty quick.
Yep. Ford. Damn it. I mean, I'm in that one and it's fine, but it's not great. So that's F. We're trying. It's long 92s right now. We could defend some upside there. MVIS is just ripping faces off right now, but we did get out of our skills. That paid no bills. That just got all the way to the downside there. Maybe a reload. We'll find a reload spot for you on skills. What up, B?
All right, some, not all, but some NFT names going here. PLBY again today. It's about 3 days in a row we've been talking about this. To 49 almost now for PLBY. That's all-time highs, guys.
Wow.
Okay, I want to come back to that path. We did talk about this in the open, and I don't know why I need two bids in there, but I wanted to be able to defend. And there weren't any obvious levels here outside of going to the first day, and there is that 70-71 top. I mean, it's getting close enough. I had a deeper order in front of 70, but I kind of feel like this is the area to possibly defend. It did ramp up here at just after 7 o'clock off this price, and it is yesterday's high. So I'll take my first stab, I guess, at following the path to hopefully glory. As a CCL on the bounce, it retakes 27. So, I mean, you can buy in the dip. I'm trying to buy. I might buy on that little strength there as it gets back above that 27 area. Each time it tips up there, I try to add a little bit and see if that's going to be the move. If path fills me in front of 71, we'll take our first crack at it off of that 70 low and also yesterday's high. But CCL back in the money. Ford, I didn't get the average in because I said I'd be patient, and now that's back at flat. So might have missed the opportunity to add some Ford.
Oh, man, yeah, don't even tell me that about Ford. We were looking at that one, and we'd never bothered to get any down there, so that would have been a great play. MVIS is now $1.20 in the money here. And did we just get that? Oh, I'm at 90. Where am I at? Oh, I'm at 96. Damn it. It went to 94 there. Darn. Why am I, I'm just picking random prices. I'm pushing offer, enter all the way upside. So we'll have to get out there. We just got out of something else there. Oh, Palantir. Palantir goes up, down, and around. So, we're back long at 85 right now. Let's see. Maybe the NASDAQ did make a bottom there, and we can take advantage of that somehow. So a good little play there, hopefully. Ford back into the money. Fisker just bouncing around, not doing too much. We do want to defend this 13 area, so we have some more bids lower just in case this name gets going, but I'm not a huge fan of the EV space. You guys have known that. We did pick up some XL Fleet yesterday at 640. That was a runner in the morning, but you can see now only up that 1.47. I thought I was doing pretty good picking up some 640s yesterday after the close, and then it goes up to 727, but I'm not out of that one. I like that one for a longer term play. Come on, Palantir, you could do this, buddy. Let's make all that money back. Let's go.
And just watching here on AT&T, I mean, you want to talk about, you had that flush off the open in the ES. Well, I mean, moved to the downside. I'm not even going to call it a flush given how far it moved. But Still in this range is AT&T, showing some strength. I thought there'd be a dip buy. If it's going to hold up and this market rebounds, this has got to be a go time push back to the upside. So I like taking some right here. Now, I'm sitting here in only long positions. I am looking now at MVIS as it starts to creep higher, but I got to get into some AT&T. This is one that I wanted to be long in, so I actually don't want to even be waiting too long. So I'm just going to grab it inside of the range. If it breaks like 31, I'll just maybe get out of it, look for that little bit of a dip buy. I said I would not look a gift horse in the mouth when it came to CCL. Keep adding it. It keeps holding that 27, like bouncing the low, bouncing right back, and I keep adding it when it retakes 27 even. This time I'll start actually scalping some off. So if I'm going to rinse and repeat, maybe I should be buying a little bit deeper. Missed it in Ford. We'll see if we can't do that in CCL. It's now trying to get back above VWAP and retest some of those close to highs. And maybe we can get that 27.40 top break, in which case we'll have had a nice profit into it. So there we go. All the longs are now in the money, and still no Lordstown short, and I can tell you why, because it hasn't even tried to pop. There's been nothing to sell into in the way of strength. So I missed the boat on what somehow was the one I really wanted to be short. And I'm like, I don't even know. I'm just sitting here staring at it. CCL now at 27.20. Got to take some more profit off on that one. So we'll fist pound. Because I know we both like that one to the long side, Sean. But it was a full board for me. And this is about as many longs as I would have at one time trying to manage them. That path starting to work down towards 71. I'll take another entry point if it defends that low of day. Or, sorry, yesterday's high as well.
I mean, Palantir, like, I'm going to go daps up here because at least we made it look like this and we're much, much better now. But I still can't believe that it broke my back there at the bottom. Like, what a joke. What up, Beep?
When we were talking about, guys, right before the open there, FCell, somebody mentioned FCell still going. Just saw it pop up here on volume. Day highs above 1040 there, now 11.5%. There was a positive note regarding a milestone, power generation milestone for FCell, but overall, nice look here. Huge volume, guys, for that one.
Okay, we just got some out of Ford there. I mean, we like that break, you guys. We've talked about that break to the high side as well on Ford, 12.10, but we're already long at the spot that we want, 92. So I'm happy with that position. We just have to let it go now. Fisker, like you talk about game positions, like I'm long I was long 8 positions at once, which is absolutely insane. I don't ever want to be doing that again, but I probably will. So my next bid here, 13.26. It goes only down to 13. This is on Fisker, of course. MVIS, 85 cents now in the money. We took out a nice profit on this one. This is my number one stock today, as you guys know. Skill's my worst stock as that's fallen through. And then Palantir, a nice little bounce back. So right now, bio. This was strange. A good out there. I'm not going to hold this back through here. So 6:30 break. We're gone on BNGO. But that's a big. I was going to say that was one of my top stocks, but that has come back in a little bit. And then we take a new position alert. Facebook. We like Facebook breaking. So 302. We're long Facebook 302. Let's go.
Yeah, and got some on the consolidation in AT&T, and then it breaks through 31.50. So I mean, it was trading higher in the pre-market, but obviously this is a new fresh high since the open. Now it's trying to take the top off at 31.65. Now, I'll take some shares off in that 60 range, if only because it's like a 20 to 25 cent scalp trade, and then look for a re-entry point down in and around VWAP to be able to buy that dip. The only one, I mean, Ford's basically flat, but everything else looking like it is on the path to glory, let's call it. Speaking of path, yeah, that's me being an absolute like tool, by the way. We try to say this all the time.
That was a great segue, though.
Yeah, but it's a horrible look. I went to put a stop order. I mean, I do this every now and then, managing multiple positions, and I accidentally take out the amount of shares I put for the stop. I'm still long the stock. If I can get back in, by the time I noticed, I don't want to chase it like 50 cents higher. If I can get back in, fine. But I might have to take like a $1.50 winner on half the amount of shares in Path because I'm a tool. Just got another fill, and that's going to be Southwest. So I guess the long continues. I might actually get out of this Path if it gets to VWAP here and then look for a retracement because it's not nearly as strong. Southwest on the move as well. It just came down in that 62 range. This is the one I can actually say I waited all the way until my entry price to get this long. I didn't chase it, much like I chased Ford a little bit higher than I maybe would have liked, then missed some reloads. I wanted Southwest in front of 62. I waited for this one to come in, and now we have another long position. So CCL, Ford, LUV, Path, and AT&T. Now, AT&T actually looks pretty strong. I'm not too worried about this one. Looking like it wants to take out the high. I'm going to hold some through the break of the high of the day, and then look for a bit of a dip buy as well. And I'm still trying to figure out a way to get into a short in Lordstown, or one that we forgot about. Nikola actually had news here and was popping on that news. Usually it's a good idea to sell Nikola in the news. Yeah, that was also true again today. Miss V?
Hey Neil, some traders on the chat talk about CVM. Biotech stock is up more than 16%, guys.
CVM, yeah, okay, we'll get to that in a minute. So Facebook already, guys, bang, out right there. Have a third left. Good trade on Facebook. Good job there. We did take our average in on Fisker. Let's see if it goes higher. Hopefully it does. It's at that 13 spot. Hey, we get hit there. We get hit there. Nothing to complain about there. AMC, though. That's what we hit the siren for. So here we go, guys. Let's explode some money. I talked about this AMC level. I don't know why we didn't buy it in the downside there, but whatever. I'm long everything, so hey, why not be long the best? AMC here, 6% and still moving. We're long at 10.20, Neil. Good price here. That was the high in the pre-market. Let's see how high it can go now. 10.20 coming on, 10.50 maybe? Let's get a piece out. That's a big run. We'll take a piece out and see what happens at 10.50, but a nice little move up for AMC. And yes, sir, that's raining down cash once again.
So, look, it's a fantastic trade. There's a lot of really good long trades, so I want to try to quickly jump to the CVM, which I was not tracking and not following, but wowzers, it already put in, like, on volume, a parabolic spike and retracement. I'm not chasing this long, and if I was looking for a short trade, it would have already been around here if it was on my radar. It was not, so I can't do anything about that, guys. Brendan?
Not a huge move for the overall market here, guys, 0.3%, but have a look at AT&T right here, right now. Day highs coming for AT&T after earnings, 5% now, guys.
Yeah, we got a consolidation. It just broke that. Well, first out is going to be in front of that 65 as it tries to break today's high. It barely ticked above, got like 1 penny. If it does a dip, I want to be buying on any dip into AT&T. Going to put some bids down in front of VWAP just to make sure we can get it. So let's do do a little bit of a strut here and then go back to path. Now, sort of admittedly, not necessarily the best thing when you're trading a lot of names, but I did make a keystroke error here. Went to put a stop order in and accidentally got out of my position. I said I'd get out in front of VWAP, so it does give you that $1 to $1.20-ish bounce off of 71 and still pushing higher. I will buy it on any weakness again in front of that level. So, I don't know how much Kathy was adding into this name. And I also mentioned Nikola. I want to be getting into Nikola. Whoops, NASDAQ. I want to be getting into Nikola if there's any kind of a pop. Now, I know I missed Lordstown here, but I'll sell Nikola on any kind of strength if it gets back into like a 1075 to 1080 area. Not saying it's going to happen, but I usually like selling the positive news on Nikola. And then CCL, because we have a lot of positions here. This one moving to the upside. It did get some out at 27 to 25. I did not buy any dips yet because it hasn't come back into 27 or even VWAP, and it did reject that 27.40 top. So still on the move, still in the money. AT&T's good. CCL looking like it might give me that buy on the dip.
Guys, you guys are too nice. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what? This might be a good time to have some vitamins. Okay, 8 positions long right now, guys, and we're balling on most of them. We just got to let it work out here. Fisker, hello, Fisker. Good price action. I took more bids down here. Let's just see. I told you about defending that 13. Could fall down, man. And if it does, we gone. We made some nice money on Fisker yesterday. If it does break this 13, just looking back, maybe 12.90 will be the out there. This one could be a loser for sure. The market not participate. Like, I can't believe I'm winning on these longs. And this is the market right now, so yuck.
I have the right names, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just was thinking that this should, if the market started popping up here, the kind of longs, the kind of wins we would have would be incredible, but we do have to start playing the downside too, right? You can't just hold things forever, so we do have some key outs there. Okay, and speaking of that, that's why we just took some out right here on MVIS. Big long, man, my number one stock today. Now we're very, very light on that name. If it breaks the bottom, we're out. So again, we're looking for outs now. Palantir has been a good name for us. We're long 22.87. We balled that one all the way up here to 22.15. Let's see if that can get going. But again, we're not dying on the long sword today, Brendo.
So nice. It is earnings season once again, guys. Some opportunities coming back into the market. DHR, one of those. Huge mover today. This is a medical equipment maker, 247 to 256 here after positive earnings this morning, guys.
You just maybe also, I don't know, that just put a DR Horton on my mind when I saw that. Didn't have a look at that. But what can I do here? I don't know, slap myself in the face. I don't have it up.
No, don't do that.
Where is it? No. Where is my graphic for slap me in the face? I can't find it, but I should be doing this to myself. MBIS, I got out of the long with the full intention of, and again, I only play these to the, like when it rejects a level, I try to catch it on the way down and on the way up. Standing in front of a squeeze is a bad idea almost every single time unless you're like, unless you have so much of a bank that you can hold it against you a million, infinitely, I'd say. But I didn't get this one on the way back in. It even gave a consolidation. It's now right off of these lows. and it kind of feels like this is where the bounce was before. I almost want to play a rebound long. Look at this price. This is at 1380. Sean gave you guys that breakout before. If it holds that kind of a level here, and it's right on the precipice, I think you can have a bit of a bounce play into 1420. I do like these in either direction. I think that's worthy of a look here. You have to be willing to play longs and shorts here. I know I favored the short at 15. Once you've missed the trade, move on to the next. That's the name of the game. Southwest was the airline that I liked to the long side. It's the only one of these dip buys that I actually waited till it got all the way to my price to get into the trade. Now it's bouncing towards VWAP. I got 62.22. Just in front of 62 long. It's kind of ridiculous not to take something out for like a 50-cent winner in front of VWAP. So we will do a backflip for Southwest. Wow, this is moving fast, and it's only 9:53, guys. If you don't like what's going on here, I don't even know what to tell you. The market's down. We're making money long. Miss V is in green, and Brendan's got the news. I mean, what do you want?
Just checking on Ocugen, OCGN, trying to clear some significant levels here. 720 to 730, big level for OCGN on volume, guys.
Okay, so Fisker, guys, right back into the money now. Right back into the money. A nice little long. We go, Mamma mia, Fisker. Let's go. See if we can get to the high side right now. We're going to sell some now. Get out if we can. 48s, 49s. I mean, we want to get more, but we're long 37, so a nice little out there. I mean, we're rocking today, guys. Facebook now, a 90-cent. Look at this pickup. I mean, again, me and Neil, we don't interrupt each other. Well, we try not to interrupt each other. We took a 301 bid there. It came all the way down. We saw the futures come down in 301, out there at VWAP. Now we have this trade, so making the money there. Good trade. MVIS, like I said, took some out. Let's wait to see what happens. AAL, like I'm so light on this trade. I'm trying to find where to get long if I even want to long. So I'm going to take one more piece here at 2090. You know what? Like when I tell you guys that, I'm legging into a trade, I just let this one drop. I had no idea about AAL. We talked about that early. This was not one that I was most, I don't know, excited about, but I did think there was opportunities there. We've seen AAL move before, like Neil was talking about, CCL as well. Those are the big ones, man. And then Ford today, 1192, out all here. Some 12s, some right here at VWAP 96. I think we got to do a little bit more there. We're out of 2/3 of this trade already, so that's a good one as well. Facebook, this is $1 in the money. We may just get out. The NASDAQ doesn't look too strong here, but I'm impressed that Facebook is holding up. So that's leading me to believe that I want to hold this one. Actually, you know what? Screw that. Let's hold some Facebook. And then check back on Palantir, long 87s. That's a 1 minute chart. I thought I got out at 04 there, but I guess I did not. There it is. There's my 04 out. Why isn't it printing? There it is. Okay, so there's the print there on the chart. 04's out. We have an 05 as well. Let's go, Palantir, man. We are today. There, I got the face slap. There it is. So we'll slap ourselves here as the market. It's funny that I have 9 long positions. The market's tanking and we're making money somehow.
But that's what it's about. It's have an entry price, have an exit point. I was trying to show you. I was going to show you guys this order here. 100,000 on MVIS. It's like at 1370. I don't know where my scroll bar went. I'll have to add that back on when I have a minute. I don't actually right now. But MVIS testing that bottom. If it breaks 1350, I'll capitulate. I mean, the first buy was solid. We're able to get up to that 1450 range. The second one, I tested higher. I don't want to average into it. Not at this particular time. If it breaks low, I'll just get out and walk away from it. CCL has also made a bit of a retracement after another pop. It keeps trying to take that high. Let's go. It keeps trying to take that high out. Doesn't get there. So I get 27.25. And again, was always getting out in this range. But this dip was in front of 27. And I actually stepped into it based on what I was watching the level 2. I was going to wait till like 03s, 04s. And then I absolutely just saw the pace on the tape just slowed down completely. The offer stopped following down. I'm like, got to get in right now. So I'm able to hit the offer there. If it takes out the high of the day, I still like that breakout on CCL. So I'm going to sort of combine these trades and go long break through 27.40 if it's got the juice here. Let's see if CCL can get going. I made the mistake yesterday, and it is a mistake, to get into NCLH instead. CCL is just a better day trading vehicle. And honestly, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The liquidity is better. It follows the levels a heck of a lot better. I just tried to flip over to Fisker. I did not make a trade in this one today. I preferred ride. Fisker now holding this 1320 area. It did not actually climb to that 1430 that I thought was going to be a key price. So I don't know that I would have had it either way. It seems like it's trying to make a bit of a bottom. I'm not at the point yet of thinking about getting into the long. I still want to be short Lordstown if it ever makes a pop. And then last but not least, in this little quick review, AT&T continues to make highs. I think it's just going to hold it into like a 32 area. I'll take some off in front of 32 and then explore a breakout trade. I still like the dip buy. I might have, if it breaks to 32, I'll look at a dip buy at maybe 60 to 65. For now, still waiting in the 40s.
Look, guys, if you're not entertained about the stuff that we're doing here today, then I apologize, but I'm thoroughly entertained with what we're doing here. I think we're putting on a great show today, guys. Make sure you hit that like. I'm not going to do the whole, like, you know, let's go to V, but I mean, 1.3K. I have 9 long positions now, and we're making that cash today. Hit that. Let's take that to 2,000 right now. V's wearing the green. Me and Neil crushing this thing today. Let's just get going. And you want to talk about crushing it? Let's go. Let's throw some cash around for our baby boy, Palantir. Hells to the yeah. As this one going to the upside. We told you we wouldn't want to miss this one today, and we made sure that we didn't. We take some more outs there at 19, and yeah, Palantir now, Rip City. We're long from right here. Unfortunately, we have this worst out basically of all time, but we do get more in, and now making that money back. So that's a good one for us here on PLTR. Facebook, guys, $1 in the money. Ford now, hello, breaks above $12. So that's another 10-cent win. I mean, what don't we have on board here? AMC, bang, 10.20. Wow, it goes to 10.50. Might have to take this out, guys. That's a big win for us as well. But, you know, right now, really happy with the way this day is turning out. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for liking the show. Just make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, and that share. Help us grow the community, guys.
It's all about that community. How many, like, you guys put FCell on the radar there. That was a great little move. It couldn't catch everything. There's no way you can trade every single stock that's on here, unless you're Sean this morning, apparently. Because, look, quite frankly, I'm impressed. I keep looking at that. I'm like, how many positions does he have on?
It's ridiculous.
If you can't beat him, join him. I talked about Teradata. Teradata, there we go. I talked about Teradata finding a bid at 50, and then if it couldn't break that low, I wanted to hold through the low or get out at 52. It takes out the top. I try to go bullish on this name. This is the problem with the top break that goes into 54. It stalls at 54. I'm like, oh, that's 54 even. That's an offer. I get out of some shares, take some profit, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't like this breakout when in an obvious 54 area, there's going to be a bit of a stall. I can just go long on a 54 break if that's the case. So that long trade will basically be flat for me. I get some out for a scalp win. I take about the same amount of hit for the rest of those shares. Probably a little bit overzealous with all the longs that are working, trying to flip the script on TDC. And now to tell you what's going on or what's happening now a lot, let's go to Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at North American markets here. You can see pretty decent morning, really. We are off the lows significantly. The S&P 0.2, 0.3 for the Dow, 0.2 as well for the NASDAQ, and both the 100 and composite. Still red on the morning, but they are definitely trying the Russell back to the downside. It actually just went red there. It was green when I came up here. So back in negative territory. The TSX here in Toronto, 0.3 in negative territory. Overall, a little bit negative to start things off. Let's have a look at a couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market. If you joined us, cruise lines were on the watch list this morning. Big moves yesterday to the upside. NCLH mentioned by Goldman Sachs as possibly one of the biggest benefactors or set to benefit from the reopening, but 0.2%. It's trying to get back to these highs, guys. 29.75, 29.80 for NCLH. Watch that. DraftKings as well. A couple of minor news stories. Volume is good on this today, but we're kind of at recent high territory. $60 tested there in the pre-market for DKNG. Guys, back over to you.
Cara House, Waterhouse, let me try it. Terry Teeter, a teeter-totter teacher, taught her daughter Tara to teeter-totter, but Tara Teeter didn't teeter-totter as Terry Teeter taught her to. Those are easy because I read I read a lot. Sorry, it's in the chat. Someone tried a tongue twister and wanted me to mess this one up. So I can read a lot of tongue twisters. So if you throw them in the chat, I can probably do it. I read a lot of Dr. Zeus to my daughter, so I get a ton of practice. Either way, we try to have fun around here. I forgot LUV, which is a bit of a mistake. Southwest just pushed in, and I look at these prices in the pre-market. 63.20 was a bit of a jump out. You had some consolidation at that price. I've allowed it to roll back over and just thrown away like 40, 50 cents worth of profit. If it comes back to my price at 62, it's a reload. I like this one long in front of 61, and I feel like we're going to be long and strong, but it could not break the high of the day. It's worth noting when it comes to top breaks, AT&T through the top. Also, CCL through the top, Brendan just mentioned. I did take the long breakout. It didn't get to the 50s. I have a decent average price here. It's just above that quarter mark, 72.28. I'm still going to buy at VWAP. I'm still going to buy probably a 27.50 break as well, guys. It should be an exciting one here. The longs have come in with the exception of Ford.
No exceptions over here, guys, as we'll unplug ourselves. I think, Neil, I think there has to be tougher tongue twisters than that.
That was easy.
That was easy. I just did it in my head, and it was pretty good there. But okay, good job anyways. I mean, that was impressive. Fisker upside, 1370. We talked about this one, so now we're sitting in a 50-cent winner right now. Fisker rockets up the board. One of my top stocks now today, Fisker. We talked about an early bid there. No problem. This is where we reloaded. We liked it so much, we bid it twice downside. So that was a good trade for us there. Facebook, where's Superman when you need this guy? Facebook right now, $1.70 in the, sorry, just bouncing around, $1.50 in the money right now on Facebook. Look at that. You may say, well, hey, there's no way that's real. Oh, it's real. There's 301 bid, bang to the upside. What a great trade that's turning out to be. I mean, this is what it is right now today. Like I just tweeted out, like I cannot believe the kind of action that's been happening today. And I am like thoroughly exhausted. I already have 151 fills today. And to think that I was thinking that maybe today I'd be a little exhausted from the big show yesterday, but not a chance, guys. We are back. We're live every single day, 8:30. Join us again at 3:15 for the closing show. As this has just been a fantastic morning. What a great run. Just talking about Ford here. It only gets as high as 12. This might not seem like, a big winner, but we'll take it. Again, it's all about the share size that you use. Make sure that you trade responsibly. I'm really surprised, and I think I need to take this Ford out, or this Facebook out. Like, the NASDAQ is just making moves to the downside like crazy here. I'm super long Facebook. I love Facebook.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite FANG names, but wow, just surprised it's holding up so well.
I mean, this market is coming back, and that's sort of the thing you got to watch. I mean, I look at Nicola. I wanted to short this on any bounce, I mean, just no bounce whatsoever. I talked about Lordstown, wanted to be short this one. This might be as good as it gets. I mean, to talk about, that's a fantastic movie, by the way. If you've never seen it, go check it out. Jack Nicholson. This guy's a legend. Anyways, this might be as good a price as I can get here. It's at pre-market low on Lordstown. I might start the position and just say, forget it, I can't say the other word, and then work into the short all the way up to that 65 area. CCL back to the high. Bit of a pullback, not far enough for me to get in, but this is my chance to take a ride to the short side. When it comes to Ford, I was sort of half saying that it's not really a failure for it. I just haven't taken any profit. I said I'll wait for 75s to come in to average into more. It got to 85 and bounced. I took no profit on the way up because I didn't have a full position. I said I can't wait any longer. Puts in a higher low at 90, so I add more here. This time I will take some out. If it gets to like that 98 to 12 range, it's a $12 stock. I mean, we scalp trade a lot here. And if I'm not willing to sort of work a position to the long side, get 5-10 cent winners, and then reload at the bottom, I don't know why you're trading for it if you're not going to be able to do that from time to time. And that's me getting away from a strategy that works. MVIS, on the other hand, this one holds the low. I didn't average in. I said, look a little weak. It bounces off of that 1350. So I'm going to stick with that same stop. And no need to add to this position unless it consolidates or maybe even breaks out at 14. So only short position is finally, for the first time today, I'm short Lordstown after it already flushed. Go figure.
Okay, it's nice to see this market. Yeah, good position there. We're still long Fisker. You guys know that. That's a 40-cent win right now. So happy with the way that one's pairing itself out. AMC, just to give you guys another update. I mean, my worst position is AAL, and that's the only one that we're going to be red on. Like, I can't believe we're going to go 8 for 9. Unbelievable. AMC right now does tick back to the high side here, maybe 1060. Like, we get some out here if this happens again. It's bouncing around 1050. Let's go to 1049. We'll get some out. I mean, the market's now rallying to the high side. So AAL is the only one that we've lost on. AMC is a big winner. You see Bingo's a big winner there. There's no doubt about that. Ford, I don't need to tell you that again. That's a big winner. You can see Facebook's. I mean, these are all the positions I have. Look at the bottom. I mean, where's the loser here? Fisker, there it is right there. What about MVIS? My biggest winner of the day, MVIS. And then you see the Palantir right now, 33 cents of the money. Guys, that is right now 8 for 9 on the day. Not too bad, Ms. V. What up, B?
Let's go back to NFT World. Was talking about PLBY earlier. I mentioned individual names. We're starting to go here. Here's another one. YVR, Liquid Media, just popping up on a volume spike here, guys. Day highs for YVR up 3%.
Not the only stock making day highs. Just now touching a high of the day is going to be Path. If you remember that one, that's the one that I keystroked and got out of too early. 75, top here. well, it's an IPO, so your daily chart's going to be useful. Just going up like a 15 minutes so I can see just how crazy every single dip has been in this. This is why I favored the dip buy, to be honest with you guys. I just really thought after these moves, you were going to get a really good shot at 71. I really bungled that trade getting up too early. If it breaks the top, I will take a breakout, but because I prefer dip buys in this particular stock, if it doesn't go right away, I might get out of some of this very, very quickly in the first like 30 seconds or so, and then look to see if it retraces down into like 73, 73.50, and then I go back into the long side of the trade. Southwest, one of the other longs that we have on, starting to slow down. I'm sort of going to go back and again to this higher time frame. Let's go this way. Thank you very much. It's starting to get into this area, that 63.50, where if it's going to put in a lower high, there is always a breakout 64 you can look at if you like some strength. I'm going to likely end up having to take some profit or take the rest out for that dollar winner and then look for another re-entry. I'm holding a lot of long positions here, and some of them you got to take some profit just in case there's a turn, something starts failing shy of the high of the day. You might want to take profits and hold the ones that are breaking through and breaking out, which of course CCL was doing and AT&T is definitely doing.
So we'll finally close off one position here. We'll start walking on water, but we've been bullish today. I want to do this one. I actually really like this one here. A nice, there we go. Look at that. We don't know what that, I think that's a mind med one.
There's some music.
Yeah, that's like a little psychedelic action there, but we are definitely clear-minded today, guys, as we've just been rocking everything. Palantir, look at this. We just got out of, that is really making me sick. But that was a nice move to anyways, whatever. Ford, good. Neil just talked about that. Let's look for some new names, man. Facebook, so this is not a new name, but looking for highs still. If the NASDAQ goes, we're going to take out 303, and that's going to be a $2 plus winner there. One name that darn it, I wrote this down. And you guys can see on the sticky note, I've already printed it out, but NEO, 37.50. I haven't even looked at it yet. I don't think we got down that low, but we may have. Let's just go over and quickly look at NEO before we go over to Brendo. How low did we go on NEO? No, we didn't even get close. So 38.50 would have been the hold spot there. NEO, not super great this morning. I'm glad actually we stayed away. Too choppy. I probably would have lost on this one. But now it's time for Brendo. What up?
Market trying to get back to the upside here, but I just noticed LVS, speaking of new names, LVS reported after market yesterday. Yeah, it's a casino. Not great on the earnings front, guys, but we're down to 59 here, trying to head back southbound through 58. Might give you an opportunity for LVS.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and take another leg off here at 70s in AT&T. It's starting to roll over. It's still pretty strong, but the 31.75, that quarter, you talk about the 50s and the quarters, they've been pretty interesting at least. And you got the 31 quarter here defending off of 31, and then you got the breakout at 50. So I'll take some profit here in front of 75. I still like the dip buy, and I'm going to hang on to it, but AT&T's definitely been a good one. So we're sort of bowling. I don't know, I'm not really good at bowling, but I try to pretend to be here. We're hitting a lot of strikes today. I can tell you that MVIS, I didn't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. And then I did exactly that here. It started to roll over at 14 here. And I said, I should take some profit, then get in at a better price in front of that 13.50. A little bit too slow, so I didn't quite get out. I still like the idea of maybe defending 13.50 with a few more there. Cash flow. Too slow I was to get that offer. Now 14 is broken. I think you can take some more. I can take some more in front of call it like 13.60 or so with a 13.50 stop. That's been in there for a while, so I like defending that level on MVIS. I did like the short. Of course, that came and went at 15 even, and now the only one I have on is one we just started taking. That's going to be Lordstown. I did try to, as it started to roll over, again, it took some on the way up because I didn't want to miss it, and I missed it early. Now I wanted to add to that position as it tried to roll over off of 950. I'll take multiple stabs at this. If it breaks 950, I can actually get out if I want to, and then look for something a little bit higher. I just want to play the weakness in Lordstown today. I picked that one over Fisker, which I just kind of felt had more momentum in the last couple of sessions to be shorting that one off of what was, of course, that downgrade. Path is on the path to success, I guess. I don't know. It just broke that 75. I got 75 long, so thank you very much to my routing key. Every now and then you get that dark pool early fill, so you actually able to get in before the level breaks. It's almost accidentally, to be honest with you. Sometimes that'll actually burn you, and that did when I was telling you guys what happened on the break to the downside at 65 on this stock. That's what happened to my short. I got a 65 short when one print came off like below that bid, and then I got an early fill. This time it works in my favor. I don't have a top because these are fresh highs. So I'll kind of look at that 50. It just turned off at there. So when we get back at that 50 level, maybe I'll take a scalp trade and then hold the rest. kind of want to see if there's a big offer. If there isn't one, I might wait for 76 evens to get some out.
So just to give you guys an update here, we are taking out some Fisker at these levels. I mean, this is a monster. This is 40 cents now. We just took out 50 cents there at 75. So take some more out here, 68, 69. Good trade there on FSR. Okay, so someone said that, okay, so Sean's going, 8 for 9, and the only name he's going to lose on is AAL. Well, yes, right now, because it just made a move down, but we did take that 90 long. We talked about taking that break through 90. Obviously, would have been a better long down here, but I wanted to see the momentum come back in. So we take the 90s, and then we wind up getting out 97, 98, 99s. We still have it. So if this now takes out 2060, yeah, this one will be our loser of the day. So we're going to have to watch out for AAL, but we do have a defined bottom there. So at least there's something. I'm pretty happy that we know where we're going to be wrong if we are wrong, and it's 2060. And my average price right now is 20.97, right? We took some 22s there. We did get out here. So that's really the only hit so far. And then we took some out to the upside. So we're going to hold for 20.60. And then I think we get back to here. So 21.22. So no more trades until that spot. We did cash out of our Palantir. We're always going to play quarters, guys. You know that. That burned me there, but it's paid off here as we get out of Palantir. Now we have 10% left, maybe a little bit less than that left on Palantir. So let's see if it continues to go to the high side. The only nervous spot here for me, I think I'm going to get out of Facebook if we break down below this VWAP. It's only going to be a 75-cent winner. It was $1.75, but we let this one go on in case the NASDAQ wanted to get to positive. It doesn't look like it does. So unfortunately, I'm going to give this one back to 301.75. Just giving you an update. It's still $1.20 in the money, so that's good. And Palantir just went back up. And then Neil's trade that he was talking about, MVIS, I'm still in that. I'm giving it to the bottom, but this is actually, as I look, is it my number one? Yeah, it is my number one stock. So this is a good name for me today. We averaged in, we loved it. We got some nice, this is a $1 winner. We got a lot of nice profits here on MVIS. So really happy with trading today, guys.
100%. And we'll go, I don't even know what this one is. Which one is that? Okay, why not?
Yeah, that's a good one. I thought that was the Bitcoin one originally, but
no, we'll hit the Bitcoin one in a little bit when we have a cause to do so. I haven't looked at anything crypto related, but Path, there was, and it wasn't a huge size order, but there was a bit of an iceberg that fooled me into getting out at 75.50 or some shares out at 75.49. But it got blown through. I want to see if now we can just kind of hold this breakout. I don't know where it's going to go. I actually looked at like 77.50 and then 80 is possible, just sort of psychological targets, and then looking to see where we can defend on a bit of a dip. So I got out too early the first time. I want to see if we can hang on in the path to glory here. Back over to LUV, Southwest, of course, the airline play that I liked. I said I wouldn't look gift horse in the mouth. It came right up, resisted that $1 winner, and is now pulling back again. So I haven't got a dip buy until it hits 62, waiting patiently, but I'm going to have to throw this order sort of within the range of resistance it's found at that 63 area or just slightly above it. Brendan?
If you like the little ones, here is one of those, SEAC, Sea Change International. This is actually a video streaming platform, SEAC, right at $1. This is $1 here. Supporting it right now, so 120 above us. If you remember, we talked about this going back a couple of weeks ago. This thing ran up to 275, has come all the way back to $1. SEAC, guys.
Right. And I have to correct myself. So the big loser here, unfortunately, today, this is the one that I can't change unless I get back into it somehow, is this skills. This is the one that's the loser. So we went long here, got out a little bit there, average, and then out. So this is a loser. So no matter what, we're going to have at least one spot on here for an L. So that's going to be that. And then the other one looks like, again, it's coming right back down. I think we'll try to average into this AAL around here, like 20, right around here is fine. 20.75, 20, whatever. Pick your poison here. I think this is worth it. A nice dip downside. We did resist VWAP, but I think that it can get going again. But the NASDAQ now coming down to Puke City, so watch out. This may be enough. We do have this order to get out here. I may just get out of Facebook just in case this does, well, here we go. It's holding, so maybe it's okay. But that's, anyways, I just wanted to go over that skills. And I think we could actually look at it now, maybe. This is yesterday's close, so we're right here on skills again. So yesterday's close actually 16.75, so we're still high, but we can easily take this out, I think. We have some consolidation here. Let's just pull this up so we can see a little bit better. That's not enough. Yeah, nah, it's got to get over here. So if we can get above 18, like, this is what I'm talking about. Good job, Kathy Wood. Getting people all hyped up. It's like Chamath, like, I just bought GameStop, and then we see what happened there. 1740 here. Let's see. I don't like that. I'd rather play an 18 break. So we're going to put an order to go long through 18 in case this gets going. But it looks like Skills, actually, I'm not even going to do that. Looks like he just wants to come down. Thank God. See, this is what me and Neil talk about all the time on the show, right? Is you got to have your outs. And like, if I don't, then I'm literally holding this thing all the way. And then my day goes from green to severely red because I did like Skills. It was a big position of mine, but we can't hold that. You got to have outs, right? And so there it is there. Basically this pre-market level of 1850, the minute that didn't hold, I guess it was 1860 or so. We got out right away at 55. So that was a good one for us there. Fisker, Facebook, everything's moving fine. Ford is coming back down to the downside. I'm not even noticing it because we're almost out of this, but this may be a good time to pick some more up on F.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be patient because I like that 75 level on Ford, but Gates of Hell, look, you can miss out on a trade, but you gotta say to yourself, so what? It happens, and I liked ride. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to revisit why I didn't just take it on low volume in the pre-market, but either way, I get the first pop into 950 or so, and we get 46s short into the low of the day. I'll scalp some off and see if we can't hold for a low break on Lordstown. That is Path now $1.50 in the money off that 75 break. I don't have a target. We'll have to watch to see what happens at 77, 77.5. If it goes every $5 or so, see if it doesn't find resistance halfway. 10.20, and yeah. I just had my losing trade in my negative stock. I see that on your board, though. Let's go to the small cap recap. I'm not happy that I missed a short on this one, Brennan.
Hey guys, yeah, Microvision we are talking about, MVIS. We were mentioning this in the pre-market this morning. The one thing that kind of caught my eye was the daily chart here. We're still in this overall kind of consolidation channel, which is trending to the downside. So unless we are getting above some of these significant levels on the daily chart, I think this thing showed its hand. However, that being said, if you tried it initially to the downside, as I did, that didn't work. Immediately got long though. That was a great trade to 15. But we're back below this 1425. So I was using 1425, which is this area from the daily chart, as kind of a pivot this morning. It topped out there in the pre-market. Fails here, going back up to 1425. We're, breaking downside now at 1325. So opportunities both directions this morning for MVIS. Fisker not giving you opportunities both directions. Tried the long initially on this. Out and short, big move down, 1310 I believe was the low on that. So a nice move if you did catch that downside this morning for FSR. One more quickly. Nikola was on the watch list this morning, 11, and then 1110 was the top. This one, another one that kind of showed its hand right out of the gate to the downside this morning, 1080 down to about 1020, depending for NKLA. Guys.
Yes. Getting the water. Actually reminding me that I need to get some water.
Yeah, it's spilt everywhere there.
It's all good. That SCAC, now start to see one of these small caps go, Brendan. So anytime you bring it to my attention, I sort of look at the daily and Puke City on the daily chart. If this thing, you can look at the 50 period saying like 130 is already going to be resistance, but I'd love it better if we were talking about a 150 pop. I'm just not sure it even has that in it. So it's on my radar now. I will be checking back in. CCL, you talk about not looking a gift horse in the mouth. Oops, forget about the daily chart. This is what we want to see. It gets up to 20, breaks at 27.50, right? So my last entry point was a 40 break. We've had longs on the dips, 27, 27.10, but last entry, of course, was that 40. So those are the shares I still have on. I'm looking for a bounce into VWAP here, or at least the top end of this consolidation, 27.30. I'm still playing the long side, buying the dips on CCL, but worth noting, maybe it was worth taking off some when it got back below that 65. If I get long more, I will definitely take some out between 50s and that 65 area. So got to be ready to scalp trade some of these retracements if you still like it. Path, I definitely looked a gift horse in the mouth. I talked about 77.50. That rolled back hard here, sort of snapping right back in that 75. But guess what it's doing here? Bouncing off that 75 entry. I think that's going to mean we can be, I want to be buying dips here. I wish I had taken it off for $2 before doing so, but the trend has been to the upside. I'm going to stick with it. If it's below 74, maybe I'd rethink that. But I think this could be a nice little add point here around that 75 area once it starts to calm down. But that was a big snap back. Thankfully, it didn't actually go out of the money more than a few cents. And now if we make a run to the high, I got to take it out in front of that new fresh 77 top. So call it 76 and change.
Okay, so now we've averaged into AAL. So this is going to be the last straw right now. We've talked about, so I mean, again, this is the level I talked about, so I wanted it, so we took it 77. It does rip upside. So now, again, you know, we've lost on skills. That's fine. We've talked about that. Now I think we have one. So let's wait to see what happens here on AAL. So 77, our long is 88 right now. This is legit price. So as long as we have that, we could see what does happen here with this side. So I'm liking this trade, but we have to have an out. So $20.50 is the out there, or sorry, whatever this 2060, sorry, is going to be the out. Unfortunately, our Facebook, man, it does come all the way down. This doesn't make any sense to me. NASDAQ goes up, this comes down. We'll wait to see if we can reload it. But again, Facebook, man, will still give some props for that. Just we don't have the best price. That's all. So a good little trade there on Facebook. We'll get out of that one. What up, Beep?
ENZA, SAA. This is where's this based? Peru. This is a construction company from South America, guys. AENZ actually just resumed. It was halted there on a volatility halt. Just resumed, ripped another 70 cents or so. 80% right now. Just checking on this one. AENZ.
AENZ. I mean, you always watch out for trade halts. It's worth monitoring those. I mean, obviously, I have some strategies around them that I've gotten away from because there haven't been many good ones recently. But that SEAC that Brendan had just mentioned here, up that 20%. I saw it turn. Look, if I like 150 and it turns at $1.25, I looked at that 130 level as well. That's kind of good enough, but there's not a ton of liquidity. Like, it's not like an overwhelming level here at that 125. I said I would get my school bar. I should do that when I get a second here. But there's not a huge level. I just like the price action. It's not moving too rapidly, so it's pretty easy to be able to get it out manually at a 125. So I'll probably try to go ahead and do that, short like 23s or 24s if I can do it. When it's essentially a penny stock, it starts to matter that spread, like 1 penny, 2 cents. I want to make sure I get a good short off of here, and I want a good price because it's not my ideal level at 25. I'm not chasing this to the downside. I'll either get 23, 24, or I'll get nothing at all on that short.
Yeah, MVIS came out as well on the downside there, so Brendan just reviewed that, so now we're flat. But we'll still come crashing in here with a win on MVIS. Okay, AAL now back into the money, so this is going to be hopefully a good one for us. Let's wait to see. It's funny, I did AAL. I don't, that's not for that. That was for MVIS crashing down. But okay, now 2080. So that's our level 2088 is our average price. If we get back up to view up, we'll start to take some out for 10 cents, and then we'll be a win. So we are going to put hopefully our only losing stock on the board, skills. Let's just check. I want to check that back though. Here, I just click on my blotter. 17. Okay, maybe. We talked about this down here at 17. We talked about it. Why did we talk about that level? Because it's yesterday's kind of close was 1675. I mean, when the stock is moving like this, like 20 down to 17, that's a $3 move. 10+% given back. You don't get these specific prices, right? You try to find good prices that you can buy these stock on the cheap. So that would be a good spot there, 1670, but a nice little bounce back. Talked about going long through 18. That could be a spot. I want to look to see if we get back to there. There goes AAL, guys. We talked about getting into that. Let's put a price here at 95. Yeah, of course we just got that fill. Did I? Where's that fill? There it is, 95. Okay, so out there, 95s. Rate at VWAP off of these buys. So my average price on AAL right now, 85. That's a good one. BNGO, I mean, still winning trade, but we got some more shares there. Dumped them when they broke through. Now we're going to hold out for 6 on BNGO. What up, B again?
2.48. It was $2.48 per share on the loss side for this one. Spirit also reported, speaking of airlines, this one a little bit better than expected. They were another one that said they're looking to the second half of this year as far as possible profitability coming back. Just popping up here, guys, near these pre-market highs again for SAVE.
Did something just happen on Nikola? Not to put you on the spot there, Brendan, but Nikola all of a sudden went from we had locates to have to check to get them here. I thought we had them for free, and then it made a huge spike all the way to the top. And I don't want to step in front of this train, but I'm going to go ahead and get those locates. It's literally a third of a cent I'm going to be paying for them. Thank you, Day Trade the World. But that's a big time move on Nikola.
What?
Right in through the high of the day. Now, if it fails here, then I can go technical, maybe short it. But this is pretty strong here, Brendan.
I believe, yeah. Jeff Ubben is on CNBC right now, so heads up on Nikola, guys. I can show you this as well. This was the headline from the pre-market here. Travel Centers of America teaming up on a hydrogen fueling infrastructure project with Nikola. But yeah, he's on CNBC right now, guys, so heads up.
All right,
Okay.
yeah, so that will move the needle. If you guys ever notice that, you do get what we call like the CNBC bounce on something like Nikola. We're hoping that bingo bounces because we are long again. I may just get out of this. We're long at 633. It's no damage done. That's just this price. We had the long huge, got some out there. I mean, look, we're not going to let this thing go to 7 and not get some out. So 685 was a good out there. And more out on AAL. Probably going to look to get back into Facebook as that was not a great out, obviously, at 31, but we had to. Didn't make any sense as NASDAQ looking to go positive now. So all of these names that we have, hopefully moving now to the upside. Wow, look at Fisker on that news as well, guys. Oh, come on, Fisker. Look where we're long, Fisker, guys. 1329 here. Come on, let's go. Ah, man, my chart is frozen again. So Fisker, anyways, to talk about it, it's at 13. Actually, just go back to Neil. I'll refresh this and we'll get the chart. But Fisker's a nice win.
So 0 for 1 on that move here, the first time through. Tried off that high of the day. Well, look, this was a previous high of 11.15 that I was trying to spit out as fast as I could. 0 for 1 when it took out a fresh high. It then tried again to make a fresh top on Nikola. I like to short and strengthen Nikola. It's just been something that's worked for me in the past, but this might be entirely too strong, and there is that news that has just come out. I'm going to take it out at 35 and sort of regroup on that one. You don't want to throw away your morning, and it's like, all the money it made today has been on longs, with the exception of a decent short on ride. Am I going to sit here and be stubborn on Nikola just because I like shorting that pop? I don't think so. I mean, clearly there's something going on here, and I'm not sitting here listening to what comments are being said. So I can't talk to the color about it. I just thought if there was going to be any kind of a bounce, or I guess rubber band effect, I want to take advantage of it. I got to come back to Ford, if only because. And once again, it dips down towards that low, and I keep waiting for it to test like that 75, and it never gets there. So at some point, I have to think about buying in the 80s. I haven't gotten there yet, but I really have to switch gears on Ford. Otherwise, there's not going to be any actionable trades for me. Path pulled all the way back in. Got a bit of a dip by here in front of that 74 mid area. But it holds the previous pre-market high where there's some consolidation. I sort of waited for it to bounce there. And again, I like to dip buy, but I usually prefer not adding everything on the way down and catching something as it tries to rebound. So that'll probably be between 73.50 and 74. Although this stock has had some spread open up. Of course, it's best still on Nikola because that's what it does. The stock has had a spread open up, and right now I'm looking at like 20 cents or so. So as it dips below 74, could be like 73.75, could be 73.55. I want to get something in that 50 penny range into the long side to add to that path long. A couple of longs have worked so far. Now we're buying on the dip after making fresh highs to 77, which I probably should have taken out in front of.
Yeah, so here's that Fisker chart that we were talking about, and there is the move. I got out right away, like what Neil was saying there. You get that bump, or sorry, Brendan and Neil both talking about Nikola there. Again, if you're going to use notes, and we had Sam on, which is a great friend of ours and a great trader as well, and he's even making notes. I know Neil uses his computer, but make some sticky notes there, and you see there in the middle, Fisker 13 again, we mentioned, and then there it does come right back down. We did take a tester at 50, and then we loaded up here at the quarters as we noticed we weren't going to get 13s, and then so that's a good trade up to 13.88 now. Fisker a 50-cent win. Palantir, guys, just feeling good about this one. We're long Palantir all the time. What? Oh my God, I completely missed this move back down to 23. I just turned it over and I was like, oh, we're still at 25s. Wow, let's put some bids downside in case that does happen again. Brendo.
That Ocugen, guys, just saw popping up here once again on volume. So heads up 12% still. I mentioned these levels, 720 to 730 earlier. It's still trying to get through that area. We did get above it, but still struggling a little bit for OCGN. It's 10:30. That means there's an hour left in markets and the trading session over in Europe. Let's get a check on what's happening over there with Miss V.
Hey Brandon, European markets are positive for the second straight session, supported by earnings reports. Luxury stock Hermès trading in Paris is up more than 2% as a strong growth in Asia may powered a 44% surge in quarterly sales. Back to you.
Yeah, we saw LVMH yesterday as well with a big move over in Europe off of, I believe it was Hugo Boss earnings that were better than expected, but people still buying nice stuff apparently, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they always got to buy nice stuff. You always, I don't know, you treat yourself a little bit. I don't because I'm cheap, but you should, is what I should say. You should also always manage to take some profits when you're working with an upward trend here. I did it the wrong way. No, I did it the right way. What am I talking about? So there it goes, arrow to the upside. That's CCL. And I did mention if it makes another run at that top, I would take some out in front of that high of the day. Now, I was bidding in front of 30. This dipped down to like 33. And this is this will be a pain of managing multiple positions. If you're trying to get a dip buy in, you're going to throw a bid in there where you think there's a good price. And at times, it'll come down to that price and you're not paying attention for a couple of minutes. And then all I could have done is stepped in, been aggressive, got back in, paid like an extra penny or two to get that reload. There is a downside to managing multiple positions, and sometimes that can be it. When you're trying to work back into something, you'll miss it. So it's in the money. You know where your targets are going to be, but you might miss that re-entry point I did there. If it fails off the high of the day, I then would dip by at a much lower price because I think it's going to test lower if it does that. If it breaks through the high, I would move this to the upside. So I'd probably move this back into like that mid-30 range. So CCL's worked. It's been good. I can tell you coming back in is AT&T. So it's right back at that previous top, this opening range high, which is like 31.60. I think if it breaks through there, I want to see if it can hold VWAP. That second long that we had was at 31.50. Those are the shares that we still have on 51s to the long side. I'd try that for a bit of a dip, but the strength in AT&T starting to abate a little bit. Brendan?
Apple just ripping here, guys. Just checking on this, but 0.3% just went positive, but big volume coming into Apple, 134. So heads up if you're watching Apple, guys.
Look at the market here taking off. I go back to Facebook because I don't understand that stock. I want to check it out, but yeah, that's a strange one. Facebook there. Don't understand that. But it looks like, is this a 52? No, 264 will be the 52-week high here for Microsoft. But we are up 0.2% here. I'm just looking to make sure no, this is the 52-week high, 261.50. Okay, so we've already made the 52-week high today. Look at this move, man. The NASDAQ just continues to climb today, but breaking new levels here. We can look at, what a great move this has been. Palantir now upside again, 37 cents in the money. Microsoft was a good one. Let's check out AMD. Intel reports tonight, so we can definitely have a look over here. Yeah, see, so I don't know. Maybe this is not going to be a great report. Like, how could the NASDAQ be doing this and AMD not doing anything? So I think this is well worth a long shot here anyways on AMD. This is probably going to be something that we're going to take here. So let's go short on AMD, long on AMD, and just see if we can't figure out why this name doesn't want to go up. I have no idea. Maybe that's indicating that, hey, this is a short, but you have this bid at 80. So probably worth a little stab here on AMD as, again, very, very weak into this strength. Intel reporting tonight. Let's find some levels, but 80-20, I'll take a stab here at AMD, on AMD.
Yeah, and I gotta go back to this SCAC for a quick second. I said it's 23s to 24s or bust for me. I never got them. It came back down a few cents. So that would have been a decent game, but I wasn't willing to chase it. I'll probably try the same thing again, but you got to note here that it did not flush even in VWAP, showed a little bit of strength into that move. So in the back of my mind, there's a little bit of caution into that trade. I probably would not take multiple entry points into it. I took some on the way down in path. I could not get it on the way back up, just a little bit too slow. And like I said, the spread opens up on this name. I'm going to scalp some out at that key price in front of 75 because that'll allow me to be more aggressive if it comes down to VWAP again, which I think is the name of the game. And I said I would get it all out if it tries to push to that high, so 76 and a quarter or so. Now, I've been only long in this name. So far, that has worked out. You start thinking about other names in the market, start pulling to the upside. Like some of your big hitters, and then some of the profit taking is starting to come in to like your AT&T, which is strong on momentum. I like consolidating above VWAP here. I'm going to take a one shot to try and go long more shares in front of it on AT&T, which I just did, and see if it can't get to the high. Scalp it off that high. If it breaks 50s downside, I'm looking for a dip into 31.10, so I see no reason to hold through 31.50.
Okay, me neither on all of these moves here. We are going long on AMD though. We talked about that. We're going to give it back down to 80. If it breaks 80, then we're going to be in trouble on that play. So let's wait to see what AMD does now on the downside here. We want to average in. We do have some more bids here right at this level, 80.15. We don't want to be wrong before we're out of this one. What's up, Brendo?
Boeing, guys. FAA just releasing a note here on the 737 MAX. Remember, there was an additional electric problem, so there was a whole bunch of planes that were affected. 71 are in the U.S. I think it was like 106 I saw total planes. But a little note just coming out there from the FAA on Boeing, guys.
We'll have a quick look at Boeing here. I mean, it's actually flat on the session, but it just came off, selling like $2. I kind of look at this. There we go. I kind of look at this on the daily chart and say to myself, you did have a bit of a level at that 230, worth bearing in mind if this got any stronger to the downside. But when you look at the slow momentum grind it's had off of that bounce, you kind of think about like maybe like a 235-ish defense before that would come into play. So if it gets down there, it'll be interesting to me. I get into C's, SEAC. I'm not calling it C's. That's a different stock. I get into this one. That's my 15-minute. I get into this one, and on the second push, no average in. I was going to take 23s and 24s the first time. It was on that first push off of 25. If it holds 25 and comes back down, then I'll take more shares. I'll like it at that point for a bit of a double top retracement into VWAP type of play here, but not averaging in when it's about to double test that high of the day. If it breaks through, I'm just going to walk away from it and say, no mas, not taking any more. Ford, on the other hand, which I've been in like all morning long, and I say, finally when I'm willing to get more shares if it goes down to the 80s, that's when it's now slowly grinding up and doesn't want to give you those shares. So this has been the slow mover of the day for me. It's never been too threatening. It's never been too far in the money. It's sort of hanging out. As the market climbs back up and the ES is close to positive, you kind of feel like this could be that sleeping giant if it gets back through 12 even.
Yeah, I'm loving Ford. I still have some positions on. Actually, about 25% of my 92s still on. We are now breaking that view up. Yeah, good little. I mean, I'm surprised. Oh, I was bidding. Oh, no, I'm selling 97s right now. I didn't bid anything lower down there on Ford. That's a surprise. Yeah, really shocked on that one. Okay, but that's what I did. So whatever. AMD does come down, man. We take our big fill at 15. So now you can see our average price, I think, is 19 now. It's 19 and change. Don't show what it shows on the board. But AMD now, hopefully we can get this one. We played that dip. We talked about that. My average price now is 20, so it's in trouble, but we're going to get out of the majority if it breaks below 80. Obviously, we're going to be wrong. Something's broken with AMD, and I should have identified that. Instead of going long, we should have just hit that short at this level. Stupid me. What up?
The CNBC bump still going here for Nikola, guys. Wow, 15% now, just broke 12. Came back down below it, though, but that's a big level, that 12. Or area, 1220, I guess, would be the top of it. But nice move. Still volume, guys, on Nikola.
Damn. I'm kind of glad I got out of that one. I said I'd find a relevant place to use it, but this is not it. There you go. Those are Bitcoins that are flying around there. But path does go all the way back into that high that I say I'd get out of it in front of that top. That's exactly what I did. Now it's double top at 77. In the back of my mind, I'm kind of hoping, please reject that so I can get a dip buy back into that 74.50 range or maybe even that 74. Maybe that's going to be true. Quite possibly not. I did finally get into, like I mentioned to you guys, did finally get into that Lordstown, shorted it, got out some of it in front of the low of the day, waited for it to retest this opening range area, consolidation at 955. Now, one thing to keep in mind, Nikola just spiked on news, right? So you're seeing that rebound a little bit here. Sean's been looking at Fisker. Some of that is going to play into ride. As much as I like the short, I'm not going to dig too deep into it just yet. I like the rollover play. I kind of want to give myself some room that I can jump in heavier if it makes a test at that 10 even. So you're not going to see me averaging into this one for a while because I did miss it the first time. Made a little bit on it here, and you don't want to throw that money away chasing a late move. I've done that with Sundial in the past. I don't want to do that here with Lordstown. Already 1040. Let's go to Brennan, get that big board for Sector Watch.
Hey guys, yeah, let's have a look at the S&P 500. Very mixed at this point as far as the overall board is concerned. The market usually dead flat in that case, and we're negative, but only 0.08%. A lot of earnings leading as far as individual names are concerned. This pool over here, I noted 8%. Equifax, 15% to the upside today for EFX. ENPH, 7.5%, another one. Micron below that, though. We were talking about weakness in AMD. Micron actually worse at this point, 4% to the downside. WDC, Western Digital, 4.2%. So some of these individual names really leading the groups. Information technology stocks are in negative territory now, despite that individual. To the upside, EFX, I mentioned RHI here, 4.9%. ALLE and the industrials leading as far as gainers are concerned. So this group is actually positive. Same story with healthcare stocks outside of Biogen. Another one that reported, BIIB down 4% today. IQV right below it, offsetting that, and then some. Far corner material stocks, you can see pretty weak here for Dow, LYB, NUE, and FCX. 3.25%. Remember, there was that note yesterday regarding the lack of participation in copper at the moment from Chinese markets. So Some of these names getting hit again today. Real estate stocks are positive. Communication stocks also in positive territory, but only just and largely due to AT&T up about 5%, guys. Overall, though, pretty muted. 0.06% to the downside for the S&P. Back to you.
All right, about us losing here on AMD, NEPA. We do not lose on AMD. It actually is a nice little win for us. Our average price, I mean, it's little. That's why we mentioned that. We got some out now at 23s, 24s, 26s, 27s, maybe not 27s, maybe 26s was my last out just now. Our average price is 19, so it's small. But again, we've identified this. So, and if you notice how I trade, and I think Neil and I trade very similar in a lot of respects to when we average into stuff and things like that. Like, these are just the first couple positions. That's why when I take the 15, you see my average, like that's a much bigger position because I know I'm going to get out at 80. So I wanted to put a couple testers here, and that's why I get mad. Like if I get hit and then it goes up, it's because, you know, like we're waiting to reload a little bit. And then here, it looks like that's going to work out for me because we get that 15 there after buying 25s and 31s or whatever there, gives us an average price of 19, right? And so we put a lot of shares there at that bottom spot where we think it might stop at. And again, why? Because look, 15, I mean, we're right here, 15, 15, 15 here again. So we put some shares there. And then when we get hit there, it allows us to get out. And, you know, we're wrong because it's hit us on this position, or hit me, I should say. But then right away, we take the 15s. It comes right back into this area again. And that's where we start getting out. I'd love to I'm going to hold the rest to see if we get an upside move here, especially if the NASDAQ goes. But just to let you know, we are ready to get out of this one if it does break below 80. So it looks like that's happening. But that's why you got to take some profit outs when it comes back to that initial spot that you looked at.
And I absolutely love that. You're absolutely right about that. I think that's one of those things you have to consider. And that's where key levels will come in, because if you know the level you're talking about, you have to make sure you get the price that makes sense for you in front of it. It's going to be your out. And that's one of the reasons why I was telling you the thought process on SEAC and why it changed, at least between the first time it ticked to that 125 or the second time when I'm getting into that short. Now, I did get some out here at 120, so 23s, first exit here at 120. I have bids. I mean, I'm just sitting on the bid. I'll show you what this level 2 looks like, guys. But I mean, there's like all kinds of size on this stock. It's on 20 million worth of shares. So, you know, I kind of want to be sitting there, and when it blows through a level, I can actually make some rebates, collecting fees as it comes through. I'm not adding to this position. Can't do it. But if it breaks 125, I will be out. Miss V, I was going to say, talk about AT&T and Lordstown, which I'm averaged into finally. But Miss V's got a name for us at the big screen.
Hey Neil, even though Brandon was mentioning Nikola multiple times today, it's really trending on the chat right now, and some traders even say that your guy's sleeping on Nikola right now. What can you answer to that?
Well, I got something for this. Where is it?
Sleeping?
This is what I'm doing. Well, I mean, it's
We
what
ain't
I did.
sleeping.
Douche. That's what. I mean, look, I took a short on this one off of the first little break, and then of course, you know, they had the CEO talking on another station, whatever that might be. It broke the high. I said, forget about it. Let's just walk away from it here. Clearly, it's too strong of a move. I've picked a battle with Lordstown here. I tend to always play Nikola in one way, and that's short into strength. And if you can't figure out why that would be, then I don't know what chart you're looking at here. Now, if I take a little bit of a step back and start looking at where this got ugly towards that fresh low through $10 in that break, it was at this 1150 range into about like $12. So as it breaks through here, am I going to try it again at 13? Yeah. If it breaks into 13, I'm 100% going to short this name again. In this chop zone, if it fails, I think there's probably some safe, maybe consolidation short at like 85 or something like that you can play off of. But you got to have an out. Nickel will squeeze on you. So if I just sat into this thing, averaging in, just hitting my sell key, like I was in like a simulation mode or something, and selling 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and just like whatever, I'll just keep doubling down like I'm playing that betting strategy in roulette. Will it work out every now and then? Sure. But if you get squeezed, you lose your day, week, month, whatever it might be. I think that's a terrible strategy that I never do. So I always have a concrete out or know where I want to jump into a short. Not there yet on Nikola again, but I will try one more time at some point. Brendan?
I was just looking around. As far as comments are concerned, it looks like there wasn't really anything of substance that came from that interview. So we'll see. There's lots of volume, though, still in Nikola. Tesla, guys, I noted, they just came out saying that they're going to implement changes that the Chinese regulators requested that they implement for production, manufacturing, and everything they do in that country. But Yeah, another one pretty sleepy here for Tesla today.
Yeah, we were trying to look at NEO as well a little bit today, and that one just not working out. Basically flatlining itself. Ooh, I see Fubo TV up to 21. That reminds me of another crazy name, Skills. Again, I think Fubo can be looked at as well. I want to look at that in a minute, but I see some talk there on the, and look, we're not forgetting about you. I see you guys there. Yeah, Path still making moves to the upside. It's nice to see some IPOs working out. I would still short that, but obviously not today, but eventually I think a lot of these names need to come back. Skills is basing out, man. A great base at 17 there. So let's wait to see. It's making this 18 even a better break for me if I'm going to take it anyways. But that's making it look better. Even 1775 right here, maybe a good break. I mean, you're only up that 3%. I think there's a lot more to go. You've seen this. I mean, it was just $12 a couple days ago. So no surprise that there was some profit taking. I got caught up in the FOMO here early on Skills, and we were hitting the register because it was 20, 30 cent win. Then we averaged in, and we wound up getting out for that 50 cent hit or so. Yeah, 19, yeah, even more than that, probably like 70 cent hit or so on that one. So that's not a good name for me today. This is the only one that we have negative AAL depending, which that's not moving. So right now, Skills, I like that place. 1775, I think that's a good, on a 1 minute chart, that's a good break spot there because when it broke here, it kind of only went to 1750 and then came right back. So to me, they're trying to defend this area. They let it go here, but that could be a spot. Okay, Fubo again, 21. I see this one up 7%. I'm just checking my notes here because guess where Fisker is? Fisker right now, guys, $1 in the money. So that's why I get a little bit upset. Like, we're not sleeping on any names, man. Like, I'm trading everything here. Fisker, I have 9 positions. Okay, so Fubo TV, downside 6%, upside 7%. It did hit a nice little bottom there. Again, like, look, this is just one of those names, got crushed. But I think there's value in Fubo TV. So again, maybe look at some bids here. Good little pickup if you're trading longer term. Good trade there. And oh yeah, ho-hum. This is that Fisker, and we said about it. I mean, look where we're long, guys. What else do you want? This is like back-to-back jacks here for Fisker for me, guys. Yesterday, we did the exact same thing. Look how high this one continues to fly. Fisker, about time we get out. Good move on this name today, now up. Remember what I told you about Goldman Sachs? Now let's see how long they wanted this thing to drop. What a surprise, it goes to 13 and then rips up. So congratulations, Goldman, you're probably long right here. Your downgrade worked.
I'm not shorting Path yet, but I did miss that breakout at 77. That's pie in my face. One of the reasons I get out in front of that high is the same reason why I took the breakout at 75 evens. Like, I like dip buys, but there's breaks to be had when the momentum is this strong. So 77 looked pretty good. It was that little double top, and you could have got a couple of bucks out of it. There is 80 as a psychological level. It got to like 79.43, never really stared that $80 range or handle in the face, and then you see like decision time, like back and forth chop between dollars, something it didn't do until it flushed in the pre-market here. So it kind of feels like maybe the top is possibly in on Path. And if you can short it in front of the 80, I'd like to get a better price than sitting at 78.30 or 78.50, which is where the bid ask was just a second ago. That's a little too far down, but if it hangs out, maybe the top end of this range, I'd take a first shot shorting for the first time today in Path. Maybe like 78 high or 79. Brennan?
Alert just on Fisker here. FSR trying to get some shorts squeezed out of it as well. Just broke 14 immediately through to these pre-market highs, guys. So volume coming back into FSR, trying to head back to the upside.
Yeah, buddy, you don't need to tell me about some Fisker. We're loving some Fisker right now, guys. Yeah, a big win for us here. No doubt about that one. We'll ring the register on this if it does break back down. So I put in a bid here, 14.25. An offer stop order to get out if it does crack below. So I'm hella excited about this trade. And as a Fisker owner, good. I said I'd double check my price. I will do that. I'm not sure my average price on Fisker. We did recently just buy a little bit more on that. So Fisker to the downside right now, or to the upside, just looking around, making sure AAL, like this is going to be the sleepy stock of the day for me, guys. AAL just looks like it doesn't want to do anything. I'm trying, believe me, I'm trying to get some AAL love here. And, my last buy was right here, 77. So that's why you get a nice little average price for me here on AAL. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be, we're long at 84. It's literally right here. I still think we have some love. This one's sleeping, but it can go. So I like AAL. There's no doubt about that. And just to recap, Fisker still going, guys. Like, wow. Where do we want to get out of this one? I said 1425, but we're way up there now. What is this? What is this level? Okay, you know what? Okay, here it comes. We might get out. Wow. Okay, volume coming into Fisker right there, pretty big. Anyways, okay. Look, it's been a fantastic day. I don't know what else to tell you guys. There it is. Fisker comes out. So we're ending on that trade right there. Volume just started going nuts there at the top. So unfortunately, we had to get out of Fisker. But again, if you look at this on a longer term frame, this is a fantastic trade. So we loving Fisker long time here today. Congratulations to anybody with that, and the Niels and the Nicola that we've talked over and over about. But Brendan now at the big screen with happening now, probably CAD dollar again.
We'll talk Ethereum first. How about that? All-time highs up here for ETH today. The only one out of the crypto group really making big moves. So 8% you can see here to the upside for Ethereum. 25.98 currently all-time highs, as I mentioned, where both Ripple and Bitcoin downside. Bitcoin not really doing much, just kind of chopping around. Ever since that big spike down over the weekend, we've been consolidating. It is getting tighter on the daily chart if you look at it. For Bitcoin, everything else not really doing much. Turkish lira standing out very positive once again, 1.6% to the upside. Pretty muted. Otherwise, you can see British pound 0.6 to the downside. Canadian dollar did pop up yesterday on those very dovish comments from the Bank of Canada, but consolidating as well for the Canadian dollar right at 80 cents again today. The euro 120 down slightly on the day, guys.
Like a dove. So it took a while to actually get into one of these like small cap shorts, which usually it'll be like half of the trades I'll make on the show. But SEAC, it gives a rollover, and I gave the reasons why I wasn't averaging into this one. Obviously that's going to end up being the wrong decision. If I had taken the original plan, which was like 23s and 24s, the upside, it would have given me the fill. Maybe I could have added to it on the way back down to 23. But it slides all the way into this opening range bottom at 114. I get almost everything out, a whole 10% of it just in case it wants to flush to the low. And at this point, I'll short some pops. Like if it tries to retest into the 120 to 123 range, I'll probably get more short in front of that high of the day. That's going to be the adjustment that we make here. And the other thing is I did miss out on an opportunity in Path, and we talk about this all the time. Like it's not just about thinking that something is going to happen. You have to have a trade that you believe in. So it did roll over, and if I had taken that short, sort of in that 78, mid range, there was $1 or so to be had. I didn't like the amount of chop that it had, how big the spread was, the room to the top, all of that sort of worked against an entry in my opinion. So it is bouncing up at this point. There was no continuation in that push to the downside, but I do feel after that weird, lack of conviction in either direction that the stock had just put in, that maybe this 80 level, or at least for now, 79.50, is going to be a temporary top. I still only want to short it if I can get a good entry price. Coming back into a few from the morning, CCL, good idea to get some out in front of the top. It hasn't given a pullback into VWAP to get more long. It's still trending upside, but at this particular time of day, I don't love averaging into a flush below VWAP. So if it comes back in, I will not be adding to that position. Southwest is going to be very, very similar, just a kind of a reversal on the chart here. It tested 62 again. I was waiting a little bit closer to that 62 even. I went ahead and canceled that because it looks like if I'm going to get it, it's going to have to be in the 20s. It can't seem to get back to VWAP, so it's showing some weakness as well. And this is a bit of a common theme here. There are some stocks that have made some pushes that are rejecting. There are some stocks that made some great bottoms that had some good recoveries, like a Southwest here on solid earnings. I mean, compared to UAL, I guess everything is solid earnings in the airspace here. But I'll pick some more up only if I can get 62.20, and I won't let it break 62 even. At this time of day, get out, wait for 61s, which we also like.
Okay, yeah, good talk there. You're talking about some airlines. We do have a move up in AAL, but it's not much. So we're going to have to wait on that one to see where we can go with AAL. That's just one of my last trades there. Fisker, unfortunately, you saw me get out there. I say unfortunate because it looks like it just took that out. So, I don't know if that was a run on stops there, but we got stopped out. We could have had a much bigger win here on FSR than we wound up having just because of that move there. So my bad on that one. We did get get stopped out, but it's not stopped out. Well, I guess it is. That was the level that we picked, 14.25. And again, those of you that see the way I trade, you know that we always take those key levels. I trade the quarters, so I don't feel bad about getting out, anything like that, but there is, that situation there, why we got out. I get out at those levels all the time, so missed opportunity to hold, but hey, these stocks aren't gonna continue to go up forever, although we would like that to happen, especially on names that were long in our own account, but that's a pipe dream. So Fisker, nice trade there for sure. AMD, I mean, yes, sir. We did it again on AMD. I mean, this is the thing. When I'm holding too many trades here, this is what tends to happen. We were long 8, 80, 19. My best out, 35s right there. Another out, 26s. A bunch of outs in 26. And now we have that 10% left, that patented 10% left on this name. So let's see what happens now with AMD. But we're happy. You can see where the long position is right now. It's actually at 15 because we've cleaned out everything else. So that was my last bid right there. So happy with the way that trade has panned out. BNGO. It's trying to go again. We're long at 33. We've just been holding this name. We were waiting for a 6 break. That never happened. So now we're getting back into this consolidation. We should put an order here, like 45. I mean, even maybe right now, get out another piece of BNGO because we're coming up to VWAP. And again, good news, Parkinson's. It's been fantastic. But they already got that 9%. They were up much higher. So let's wait to see. Put some orders in front of VWAP here and just get out of a last piece of that one. I don't know what else to talk about here, but always can talk about this name. Palantir, guys, stacking it up. Look where we're long, 22.85. So a nice win here on PLTR as it just keeps on going up. You guys know how much I love this name, and it continues to print some cash for me. So Palantir to the upside, 23.50. I mean, we may just take this out. This is the kind of levels that we were talking about earlier on. We wanted it to defend this level. Unfortunately, we got out at 22.75, but then we hammered it back once it broke this little area here. It does come back in. We could have averaged in again. But notice I didn't get out the next time that it broke, leaving it for a little bit longer. We don't need to get wicked out again. So that turns out to be a good trade there on PLTR, guys.
And I took one shot at it. I've gotten away from it for now, but I said I would come back to Nikola. It might be, I'm not promising anything here, but it might be something that is going to be moving for the afternoon show. Now, I missed it yesterday, but of course it was an actionable close. And there's big time earnings coming after the bell with both Intel and Snapchat. So there should be some movement in those two names. 3:15, we'll be coming right back to you guys for that power hour into the close. A lot of stocks are moving here. You're going to see a continuation of. I anticipate Nikola could be one of them. As I go away from that and say maybe it'll be an afternoon trade, doesn't mean I can't trade it now. It is getting close into this range. This is my 15-minute chart, by the way, guys. It is getting close into that range, up into that 12.50 to 13 area. Starting to slow down, but still grinding higher. Now, I was going to give that Lordstown into that 10-ish area, but because I'm looking at Nikola, and Lordstown popped on that Nikola news, I'm going to get out if it breaks through this high here on Lordstown and look for a re-entry point. I don't want to be shorting into both these at the same time. I kind of feel like that's stupid because it is stupid. So I'm not going to do that. It'll be one or the other. And because Nicola's getting close, I don't want Ride breaking a key level here on me when I'm trying to get in. Is it good? Is it just broke that high? I'm out of Ride. Now I'm starting to think about Nikola at these price levels because I don't want to be in both at the same time. SEAC continues to run in the money for me. I don't have any bids at this point unless it goes down to $1, and it hasn't given me a re-entry point. That one, much less risky to be short. You don't want to be in too many of these at the same time. If they're squeezing, I feel like Nikola and the EVs are the ones that are going, so one at a time on those.
Yeah, they sure are going. Unfortunately, I just looked back at Fisker, and it's still ripping upside. So it's 11 o'clock, guys. Join us. Make sure. Oh, here we go. I'm going to hit this right now. Make sure you join us for the. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Wow. I have so much stuff. We've already talked about that. Join us for the afternoon show, man. We're going to come back. We're going to crush it for you. Neil just mentioned that yesterday. It was me and Arun today. Great. Neil's going to be here for us on the close as well. So we'll look at some of these running names. We'll look at names that you're interested in, and we'll try to figure out the best plays for you in the afternoon. Fisker will be one of them. So will your Nikola. Well, your Nikola, but you've been the one trading it today. I should have been, but we were not on that name. So, join us again, guys. Big show coming. I've called it. I've sort of named it the fastest 45 minutes on YouTube. And believe me, it is. I cannot believe how fast that closing action takes right into the close. And excited to have you guys on board. So join us. Please do that. How many likes do we even have right now? It's 11:01. We're not even at 2,000. Valeria's wearing her green today, guys. If you're liking the show, I think Neil and I have given you a whole bunch of trades to at least consider today. So, guys, please support the show if you can. Hit the like. More importantly, hit the share. We would love for you guys to share this with all of with your friends. Get our viewership up. We're trying to create community here. For us, that's what it's all about. So hit that like and hit that share. Let's tell YouTube what's good, man. I mean, we're not charging anything for the show. You guys know that, obviously. You're joining for free. Who else is going to do that? I have 267 fills today. So to say that we're putting in work would be correct. I mean, just look at Fisker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 fills alone on Fisker, and I'm still long 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names right now. AAL, Neil, finally starting to move up. So we're only long, we've traded 9 names today, maybe 10. We're negative on one of them, and we will, hopefully, if AAL can get going, turn this one around. It only needs to break above 21, and we turn that stock positive. So a big day today, needless to say.
Yeah, and look, Path has been a good one. It's been very, very strong, but I kind of reverse field on this name and want to be on the south side of it. You can see it finally made the test all the way to 80. On the way back down, it's like try. This is as far as I will chase it, trying to get it on the south side of 79 here. But it just kind of fell a little bit too fast on me to be able to get it. That's the downside, right? So you can mitigate risk by waiting for the turn at the price that you like and then trying to get it, or you can get in front of the moving train. At the time, you had Nikola moving up, and I was kind of trying to get into that one. I had just gotten out of that ride position. As it took off the top, that was the right call in Lordstown. So being overly aggressive in Path and taking it into the level didn't make a heck of a lot of sense to me. The safer way of getting in on the way down. With the path I chose, it was the wrong one, because that 80 level, cash money on the short. Brendan?
I was just noting the market dead flat, negative 0.04% at the moment. That was actually the lowest weekly jobless claims number since the pandemic started. So that alone should have given some sort of positivity to the market, I would think, today. Random volume alert here. Big C, Big Commerce, just popping up on a volume scanner. You can see huge order. Took out 54 there and then some stops maybe gone off as well. Big C up to 2.8%, guys.
Big C for sure. And like I said about that Path, it's a bit of a pain in the butt there. I wanted to go back to Peloton if I could. This one, we all know the story. If you've been following along this week, of course, they've been under pressure for the last few sessions. Some criticism for the response to the accident and not doing an immediate recall. It did get to that 100 range. It's actually bouncing today. I like the test, and again, you can't trade everything. I like the test of 105. That's already failed, so you do see like it on an upward trend. I want to emphasize it is still an upward trend, but I showed you the higher time frame and how weak it's been. Once this rollover happens, if it bounces off VWAP, I'm going to start thinking about shorting off of that 105 level. I know it had a failed break, and that's a great entry if you had it. Anywhere in like 104.50 or so, that's a great short for you there. But if it comes back up, I'll short off of that high of the day, 105.10. So much similar to Path, it's an upward trending stock. Only Path at a couple of days of only going up. Peloton, this is a one-day bounce that I don't mind shorting into. Speaking of bounces, it's a good thing I didn't get too stubborn with Ride and took that out on the break. Maybe I should have reversed. The reason I kind of didn't like the reversal here, and I should have said this at the time maybe, you get this little break. It was all kinds of chop on the way down. And then you're talking like 985 to 1020. And you had all kinds of indecision in between those price ranges when it got there the last time. And then the gap was above 1025. So I didn't really like the break 85 up to that like 40 mark. Yeah, you could have scalped like 20, 30 cents, and maybe I should have done it. Actually, I probably should have done the reverse. It is what it is. I stayed away from it. Sometimes getting out of a trade is the best thing you can do. I missed on this one getting short at the open. Of course, I'm not going to compound that mistake by just averaging into it and not having it out. So we took it out. Looked over for Nikola, which is still consolidating. So that's showing some strength up here because heavy consolidation right at that top around that 1250. I'd actually prefer it punch through that zone and maybe give you something into 13. That'd be a stronger short in my opinion. So hang on to the 3 longs, and the one that's working, SEAC, that was one of those small caps that, again, you have these setups that you prefer. This was an easier one, working off that 125 area. Just had to be very, very patient with it. Now it's in the money, and I'll average into it. If it holds below this 117 mark all afternoon, I might just take a break of 114 and then play off that 17 to 20 area for the short instead of waiting for a pop higher.
So, I'm wearing my mask. Here in Ontario, of course, we still have to wear that. So you get up, even to refill your water, you put on your mask. I want to say thank you to our friends at NASDAQ. And it actually reminds me, this is a NASDAQ mask. It reminds me of my Instagram post right here. And then I just saw, this is a long time ago. Like, when did they send it? Like, we've been wearing masks here forever. This is July 14th, 2020. Wow. And I did want to bring up, too, myself, Brendan, and Greg. You saw Greg on the show just a couple days ago there. We were out golfing not too long ago, and now we're getting really upset. And there's actually a petition out now. Golf courses closed. Here, I'll put that the Instagram there. You can follow. I put some more personal things on Instagram than Twitter, but kind of the same stuff. Anyways, the point is that there's a petition out now, and we're going to sign it. I think there's like 75,000 people now to get the golf courses reopened. It's unbelievable. I think I think it was Greg or Brett, I'm not sure who told me, we're like the only metropolis basically that has golf courses still closed. Like, crazy. You can't even go on a golf course right now in Ontario. So hopefully that gets opened up and we'll be able to hit that. I got a new driver. I got new everything. So I'm trying to use that stuff. I don't even know if driving ranges are open. There's a stay-at-home order right now. I don't think driving ranges are even open, which is crazy. Okay, who cares? Now, I didn't want to get too greedy. So AAL, if you've noticed, VWAP has come right down now. So we used to be up around 21 even. Now we're basically right here at 20.95 or so. This is what we're talking about because, remember, this adjusts. So it's volume weighted average price. So as the day goes on, and you could see AAL completely flatlining, obviously. Marlon, what's the watch today? Oh, I switched it up. Today is just the Breitling today. So we got the chronograph there. That's what's being worn today. And it's been pretty lucky, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. I still like, I know O'Leary roasted me, but I still like the smartwatches. Those make sense. They keep your heart rate. They keep they let you know when you're getting a phone call, things like that. I thought it was, I like those. Okay, but anyways, AAL still moving, and I just want to say that as we're getting closer to the end of the show, I still have hopes that we can get above 20 here, or sorry, 21, and then get to 21.20. But I am piecing some off because we're long at 84, and it's a dime in the money. If I get out now, we would still be negative because I took that piece out right there. But again, a little bit of a bump up above 21, and we turn that stock around. BNGO. Thinking about getting some out. I never put an offer out, so I think I'm going to do that right now. We're just cleaning up some positions. Only 20 minutes left right now. BNGO approaching VWAP, a good spot to get out. I will do that. And then Ford, I know Neil's been, first of all, Palantir still, man, turned at 50, but still strong. We're long that one, 54 cents in the money. And then Ford, the sleeping stock of the day. I think we got two of them here, right? We got Ford and we got AAL, both sleepy time. I wish one of these would move. My bet is on AAL. It seems like Ford is stuck here now.
And I knew you were going to say AAL was the one that's going to move because Ford's doing nothing for me as well, Sean. But just so you know, Southwest made a bit of a pop, but I took this position off here. I was greedy last time, and it got to like 63, and I didn't take the dollar winner. This time I'll just grab the 60 cents because it is past 11 o'clock, heading into lunch. I just feel like if we roll over, the ES is right on the high of the day, and if it breaks through, we'll be able to find some other entry points, and we're still holding a couple of longs I think can benefit from that, like CCL and Ford. But either way, profit out of LUV. I'm just left with that SEAC short, and then Ford doing nothing, CCL. Still in the money, but also slowing down. Brendan?
Man, this Nikola move, guys, is just out of control. 20% now for Nikola to the upside after that Jeff Ubben interview on CNBC. I mean, the most positive comment I saw from it was tremendous momentum. I don't know. Even this one, Helion, getting dragged along with it here. HYLN, another one that's been left for dead, up 11% on volume, guys, for HYLN.
Yeah, my call is he must have just talked about the environment in general and that there's room to work, I guess, room for multiple companies. It's the same thing that Goldman said, but reverse, right? Remember with Goldman with Fisker, as that's still, oh no, okay, good. I was gonna say that's still going, but it has stopped. The fact that by the time that there's cars going to come to market, there's going to be so much option, so many other kind of cars, companies and whatnot to be around that, the Fisker Ocean or whatever will probably get lost. But that is true. But hey, people stay loyal. And if you build a good product, I think they'll come. So I like Fisker long term. I think it's worth a hold. A lot of these stocks look exactly like this today, where you get that bottom. I mean, just look at the Nikola chart. Like, just don't, like, if you close your eyes and then reopen them now, you'll think that it's basically the same chart from what I think. Anyways, let me see how it looks right now as Nicola is waiting for it to load. You'll see, come on, let's go chart. Yeah, there it is there. So basically the exact same thing. This is much more of a downward move than Fisker, but you did have a nice little bump up there January when all this sort of the meme stocks were going crazy there. But look at this, all the way to the down and then back up. And again, almost exactly like Fisker. Fisker doesn't have as long of a shelf life, but same move upside. A name that I'm in right now too, XL Fleet. I told you guys yesterday we bought some 640s at the end of the show, so that's up to 711 to add to my 870 or 850 average price. So my first in. So we're getting close to being flat on that trade right now. Oh yeah, and guess what? Did I not get hit there? Yes, I did get hit. So AAL, getting excited. There it is, 20.99. We took out a piece there on AAL. So nice move for AAL with only a little bit of time left here. We're starting to clean up some of our trades. BNGO, good out there. Look at that, right at VWAP. We only hold one piece left of that one. And a quick little note here, as unfortunately Ether, Brendan, you talked about it hitting all-time highs, because it does. And it's not like it's too far off. Oh. The all-time high just got hit. This is a minute chart. So the all-time high just got hit at 2607, but now it's pulling back in. That's not as dramatic as Bitcoin, because for some reason, guys, the BTC doesn't want to come close to all-time highs of 60 and change, 64. I can't remember what the all-time high is on Bitcoin. We'll find that out in a minute. But right here, you can see Bitcoin having a problem, not getting started today. Here, let's just call this up. I can call up an hour chart here. That'll give us the all-time high of Bitcoin in a minute once it loads. There it is. Yeah, there it is there, 64.9. So 64.9 ever since then, man, just ticking to the downside. Watch out. There's that Chinese province that went offline there. They had to stop mining. So you could see a big drop down to 50, but it doesn't seem to want to get going. The breaking spot right here, 58,000 on BTC. You get that and you start to roll.
I took the next shot here at Nicola. I talked about being a little bit more patient with it, taking out that Lordstown trade. It's initialized here at 58. It tested 1250 to 13 was sort of that target range. It tested in that range, just started slowing down. So once it gets into that target area and slows down, I'll take one crack at it. I still like it in front of 13. If it makes a fresh high here, I'll walk away, trying to limit it to like a 10 to 15 cent loss, tight stops on trades like this, because risk to reward is fantastic and you don't have to be 100% on these trades. If you want to sit there and average into it, eventually it goes to VWAP, fine, fair enough. That's not the way I like to play these. If it takes up the high, I'll walk away and look for 13 even. Berendo.
I was just checking on this apparent coal company from China, Code Chain New Continent, CCNC, because I saw this story over here. Code Chain, I don't know if you guys can see that, but Code Chain, 17 Bitcoins mined in the first month of cryptocurrency mining operation. Again, coal company, guys. CCNC just popping up here through $3 on volume, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoins are hot, so I mean, it makes sense. I don't hate on any company switching up their mind. I remember this is a long time ago, not a long time ago, but long enough ago, when it was iced tea. It was Long Island iced tea. They wound up changing over to Long Island Blockchain Company. So they went from making iced tea into a blockchain company, and that rallied the stock, believe it or not. So there we go. And guess what, guys? Oops. This is not an EV name. We don't need to get unplugged. But we could do something like that. We'll just go a little bit of diamond hand action. Normally you have diamond hands for like stocks that are, you know, in the money for you for a long time, or you've held something for a monster winner, blah, blah, blah. But we actually hold the fort now with AAL, and hallelujah, right back to the upside, right where we talked about it. I did say that we had 2120s in mind. We just had to break that. It was slow going, but there it is, man. These are bids, there's our outs. So that one turns it out. So we will give props to ourselves a little bit here, because we did hold this one. We talked about it needing to go, and there it goes. There it goes a lot, actually. Let's take out another piece here at 11 if we can. There it is. We take 11s out. So hells yeah, guys. That's diamond hand. And it's also a chicken dinner winner. So celebrate chicken dinner tonight. Grab some wings, grab some thighs, grab your favorite cut of chicken. What's up, Brendan?
Everyone's favorite recent IPO, Coupang, just popping up here on volume, big time volume, 42 up to 45. The only thing I see right now, Motley Fool talking positively about this stock, calling it a long. CPNG, guys, 3% on volume here.
Fool me once, fool me twice. Nicola, I move over to Path. I don't know. I got nothing for that. But a Path makes a push. I tried to get on the way down. Remember that, guys? It was going to be at that night at 78.5 or so. It pushes all the way to 76. If you remember, that's where I was getting out in front of that previous high, double top. When it dips into this like consolidation range, or pushes, I should say, into this consolidation range, I just look for that same 78 level where it rejected before. You got the 78 quarters and out. I get 77.88, so you're risking like 30 cents. If it pushes through 77, that's great. But if I'm only going to be risking like 30, 40 cents plus slippage, does it make sense that I should be taking some out here in front of 77 for 2x? Yes, and then the rest out in front of 76. This is more of a range-bound type of idea here that I just want to play the sell side of that trade. Now, obviously, I can dig into Nicola again at some point, but I'm waiting to see what happens at 13. I don't want to fight that one too hard. It's clearly squeezing to the upside. You don't want to just start throwing away your day chasing something because you believe it's a short. Squeeze is happening. I'm not fighting those names. I'm going to stick with Path and SEAC. It was long all the way up in Path, and then when it turned at 80, I flipped into thinking about that short. This is the first time I actually got it, however.
I'm like pretty much done right now. We did take out our AAL. We talked about that. You could see what Ford is doing right now.
Oh my God, I got to fill in Ford.
Oh, you got filled on Ford? What price?
No, I have an 11.98. I said, look, if it pops up to 12, it's not doing anything. I got to take something out in front. So I took 20% out in front of 12. If it breaks 12 even, I'll take more out, where it was doing nothing for like an hour in the pre-market at 12.02. And then maybe you can actually break higher and take out those highs of the day, which I'm holding for. I want to have at least a third of the position if it breaks the high of the day. It's taken a while, but look, it didn't even get to that 1075 or 1175. It held a double bottom. Let's see if we can get going. The ES is close to breaking some highs here. Why not Ford? Why not right here at lunchtime for us?
Yeah, I'm down with that. We just took out some more on Ford there. It's up to 99s now. We took out some 98s and some 97s and some 98s. And now we just wait for Ford to go higher and higher and higher and give us yet another win there. So good trade there. Oh yeah, AAL, we've already talked about that one. And then Palantir. That's all the names that we have. I did want to check back on one other name here, and that was Facebook. Where is that 301? So it looks like that turned out to be a decent out there on right here on VWAP. It does go as high as again back to 302.50. This name is funny because if you look at Apple today, right? Brendan brought this to us earlier. Apple up big time. Not big time, but that was a big time move there. This does not look at all like our Facebook chart. And then look at Microsoft as well, right? Again, move up. We're still positive. And you go back. Actually, I thought Microsoft to be up higher than this. Microsoft ticked a 52-week high today, so get it while it's hot. Okay, Ford now, Neil, actually, I'll take another piece off here at O's. Why not? There's the fill at O's. We're starting to go to the high side now. So we talked about Ford. We've loved the long. I've only ever been long. The problem is I only got long one time. I put another bid down here at 88, but missed this trade. So that would have been a great trade, but now Ford breaking out. And, oh yeah, by the way, AAL now making new highs, not for the session, but since this dipped down, up to 12s, 11s. Let's see if it gets to that 20, and then we'll get out. But AAL, yes, sir. That was a good one. We'll see if it can continue to go to the upside. Hey, I'm at the highest spot. I'm not at the highest spot I've been at all day, but pretty damn close with this move here.
Yeah, I mean, I took one more shot at Nicola here, and again, I'm going to keep with literally 10 to 15 cent stops on Nicola, and then see if we can make it work here. And again, of course, it does not. But this is the thing. This is the thing about it. Path, I'm willing to give it a little bit more room. I'm willing to sit there and hold for what potentially could be like $1.25 type winner. Well, I mean like $1.50-ish, $1.25 average and $1.50 plus if we get the bottom end of this range. But Nicola, on the other hand, there's a different litmus here. You know, Path, this is a recent IPO that he was extended a couple of days. There was a lot of selling on the first day of the stock. It was very, very weak initially. And then it pushes to a high, like a psychological level, and then profit taking starts to come in. The sellers start to come in. Nicola is, as far as I'm concerned, just squeezing to the upside. And when it's squeezing, I'm short, tight stop, short, tight stop, short, tight stop, short, tight stop. Like, I don't even... If it goes without me and I go like 0 for 4 taking paper cuts and eventually flushes to 1150, I got to be able to live with that because it's sort of a dangerous game here. It's a lot easier to roll into something like Path where you have some defined levels, and you know I kind of have seen it reject. I've watched it reject the price level, show absolutely no bounce in it until it gets to another key level, and then I have an obvious area where I can get in. So That's much more structured. I'm just basically getting into nickel every time it slows down in a price range that I like, and then seeing if that's going to be the flush with a tight stop. So, I can take multiple cracks at that without risking my day, whereas in path, I'm only looking for that one shot to the short, which we've got here.
What up, Beep?
Brendan?
Foonware. I was just reading a story about Foonware, that PHUN stock, launching data SDK for third-party mobile applications to reward consumers with Fooncoin. Oh, yeah. Coming to a cryptocurrency near you, I guess. Foon, guys, just popping up here.
Yo, throw me down some Foon coins, guys. Yeah, I have no idea. I'd rather have some Cardano than some Foon. Yeah, good play there. I don't know if you're a shareholder. It's always nice when stocks start talking blockchain. I think blockchain is actually going to change the way we settle trades and things like that. I think there's so much opportunity with blockchain. So good on Foon for releasing a coin there. I'm still waiting for the TTVL coin to come through. I don't think we should SPAC anymore because SPACs are getting crushed. So let's just release a coin, right? Maybe you have to pay with a coin to watch the show, and then the coin would be 1 cent. And then if somehow it starts to get going, then we'll give coins to our members, things like that. It's actually not a horrible idea. Maybe I should think about this. You get for the $5 a month, maybe you get 50 coins or something, and we see how that goes. Obviously, that's probably not a good idea, but it might be fun. Okay, AAL comes back in. We take a little bit off. Look, there's only 7 minutes left. And what you have to do now is put in your calendar the afternoon show. Oh my God, I'm really going to clean this up. There's way too many things here. Coming up, guys, 3:15. It's not coming up right now. There's still a little bit of time left, but join us for the afternoon show, the fastest 45 minutes on YouTube. Join me, Neil, and Brendan as we run down the close with you. We talked about stocks, that report. Oh, yeah, let's check out Chipotle there. We talked about that yesterday. I said that it was probably going to be a decent report. Doesn't seem to be that way. It started off a decent to today on the high side. So, again, it does take out some levels. This is yesterday's close. If I can zoom back out maybe a little bit. Prices we were talking about, wow, that's right at 4 o'clock. But you do see a 1,500 level, and then we open up 1,540. But since then, just tanking to the downside. Well, look at that move. Wow, aggressively moved to the downside. So Chipotle, it looks like they beat for some reason, and then now they're all the way to the back downside. So more work done on that one. Let's check out. It looks like our AMD came out. We're still up on that name today, so I'm guessing it broke. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I don't know why I lost on that last 10% there, but it did break, and now it's right back up. So I'm still positive on the stock, but I was like, where did my AMD trade go? It breaks 80, so that's an out there. It goes as low as 79.90. We'll put that in our cap and remember that for tomorrow or for the afternoon. 79.90. We should be picking up some AMD on the downside. Watch out for Intel. I think that'll be a good report.
Yeah, I hope so. I love what Intel is doing. I recently got them. I don't really have anything for it, so I'm going to hit the power up. All done in CCL. It finally made that break. Look, it took out that high. Didn't get to 28. It just sort of turned around at that 27 3/4, 75. So once I see that happen at this time of the day, I'm going to walk away from the profit. I still have SEAC and Ford, which also finally went here, right? And the key thing is, the ES didn't break through the highs. It got green, but you got to break out in CCL anyways. You didn't get the break. You didn't get the break in the market, but again, Ford is also breaking to the top. So I want to take profit in front of the high. Ford is the one that I kind of feel like is maybe worth more of a hold in case it can take out that 12-10 area where CCL is already broken through the top. So you walk away from that trade. You sort of dig into the ones that have that fit your structure for holding throughout lunchtime. Ford did. CCL was more or less just take the profit and run. You hinted a little bit about Intel there, possibly having a good report. I mean, everyone talks about the shortages and their foundry. That double bottom is getting pretty interesting on Intel. I'm not going to, of course, you do it one time and all the charts go to NASDAQ. I'm not going to get into this one right away, but it's worth noting, these lows earlier on in the week, 62.50 or so, and now you're putting in today a double bottom at a higher low potentially. Maybe a good little spot here. I'd only scalp trade going into earnings plays, of course, but a nice little area if it wants to run in the afternoon to earnings. If I can defend that level at 315, we come back. I'm going to look to do so. Hopefully, actually, I kind of hope it runs from there, but if I get a chance, we'll do it at 315. Brendan, some earnings that we've just now talked about.
Yes, indeed. We are right in the middle of things. Lots of names to look at as far as earnings are concerned. We've mentioned a few already. Here's a look, guys. Again, aftermarket tonight or before the open tomorrow for earnings.
I'm going to hit one button.
There you go.
There it is, Snapchat, guys, right in the middle there. I think that's going to be a monster report. We'll wait to see what does happen with Snapchat. There's tons of names on there. Shout out to Stone Cold Steve Austin, the WWE right there. I don't know if he's still alive or around or whatever, but one of my favorites.
I'm sure
of
he's
course,
alive.
The Rock. Yeah, I know he's alive, but I don't know if he's. They just had WrestleMania. I don't know. I have to admit that I'm kind of out of that right now. I wish I was back in it. My kid's 9, so maybe time to start talking about wrestling with him. You can't go anywhere, of course, right now. But there's Ford, guys, and the win just continues right now. Really super, super happy with this bid on Ford 92s. We wrote down here on our sticky note that we loved, and it's right at the bottom there, that 12-10 break. So the fact that it came all the way back down was great enough for me. We were able to average in. We missed that spot, but Ford, another win for us. A great trade there. I don't know, man. I mean, it's just been such a great show. I'm excited. Those earnings got me going. We could check out Snap quickly. I can't hit that. Let's hit that again. I really love this thing. Snapchat, of course, on the NYSE. $58. It's come in a bit. Snapchat took out huge highs not too long ago. I think this went to 70. Yeah, right there, $72 on Snapchat. But right now it's building this kind of base. The reason it doesn't look super sexy on the chart, there's no doubt about that. But if you get above, and I'm wondering, Brendan, not to put you with more work here, but what is the short interest on Snapchat? Because for me, it's going to have to be a big report. Like you're talking about 10, 15% up. But if you break above here, $64, and the short percentage is like anything above 10, 15%, something like that, I think people are going to get scared. They're going to cover Snapchat, and everyone's going to wonder if it's going to retest highs again. So watch out for that. But then if it's a bad report, then more shorts will pile on, and we may test down here. I know that's like double talk back and forth, but again, if the shorts are in and it's a great report, you're going to get a monster move tomorrow, trust me, on Snapchat. I just have a feeling that this thing could blow upside if they report anything attractive here with Snapchat.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, and not just as a shareholder, I'm a firm believer as well. I want to just very, very quickly, because Honeywell, people tend to ignore some boring stocks. I don't think there's anything boring about the performance that Honeywell's been in. I just don't know how to get into this name. It's like sometimes you bet for bad things to happen so you can get a pullback. I don't wish ill will, but I'd love this to come back to like 210, 215 to be able to pick something up. Sometimes you throw a bid and get lucky. I feel like that's the place to go on Honeywell. If you don't know today what national day it is, I'd be surprised because it's been mentioned a couple of times. But let's go to Ms. V, who wore the green, and we just got flats, barely green on the ES. NASDAQ still trailing in. Your good luck, Ms. V. You've turned this day around.
Thank you, Neil, and hey guys, it was a pleasure spending this trading morning with you. Please come back at 4 p.m. Eastern Time to trade the close together, and happy National Mother Earth, everyone.
Happy National Earth Day. And good luck at Goldman Sachs with the downgrading EV names on Earth Day. I don't know, whatever. Let's see how that plays out. You saw that spike that's happening, still ongoing. Some of that squeeze that happened in some of those names that were downgraded and extending across the entire EV space. And we'll be right back at the end of the day for that final 45 minutes. Make sure you jump back onto the channel because it should be very exciting based on the price action we've seen here and with the market trying to get back to the upside and continue that recovery that we had from yesterday. For the entire team, for Ms. V, for Sean, you're a trooper. You know why. My man, Brendan Wickens. We're not
also
winning.
Also a robot, apparently.
Mine's blue.
What?
I got a blue shirt. And I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, this is Trader TV Live. We'll see you back at the close. Stick around for some Day Trade the World knowledge.